Chapter 531. Dad, calm down. Jiang Zhao exhaled. He had thought that he would be exposed, but he didn't expect it to happen so quickly. Why should I calm down? You don't treat me as your dad at all. You asked your mom to have dinner with the in-laws. You should have arranged for me to have dinner with the in-laws. I'm the head of the family. Jiang Zhao's heartstrings suddenly relaxed. Oh my God. He was so scared that he was about to have a heart attack. His father's thoughts should have been easy to guess, but he was confused at this time. It was too exciting. He thought that he had been exposed. Dad, this is my fault. You know Mom's temper. I was willing to arrange it for you, but Dad, I really couldn't persuade Mom. Jiang Liqing snorted. Sophistry. Jiang Zhao knew very well that no one in the family had taken the initiative to have dinner with his father-in-law. His father only said this because his mother had gone to the dinner yesterday. His mother had gone on behalf of the groom's parents. He wanted to go with his mother, but he didn't say it directly. Instead, he scolded him. He really didn't have the attitude of a beggar. However, Jiang Zhao didn't dare to provoke Jiang Liqing at this time. Seeing that his father had helped him a lot last night, he didn't care about a certain person's bad temper. Dad, I actually wanted to arrange a dinner party tonight. It just so happens that Si Jia is on holiday, and my father-in-law is at home. Yi Er is also free, and I'm also resting. Let's have a family gathering. Jiang Liqing hesitated. Jiang Zhao said, Tonight, I'll purposely tell Mom that I'll be a few minutes late. You arrive first and choose a seat first. How about that? Jiang Liqing seemed to have gained a huge advantage. Okay, let me know when you've decided on a place. Okay. Jiang Zhao hung up the phone and said to himself, Brother Liqing is so pretentious. He clearly wants to hear if Sister Zhen is going. Jiang Zhao had just booked a table at the restaurant when Qin Fian called to urge him. Brother, do you want to know how awe-inspiring Uncle was last night? I have some gossip. Rumors are definitely not as exciting as the real Brother Liqing. With that look of his, I don't even need to say anything to know how he scares people. Jiang Zhao had already walked to his car. He took the keys and unlocked the car. By the way, let's have dinner together tonight. If you leave the Qin family's house, you can pick Grandpa up. If you don't, I'll pick you up. Grandpa has a driver. It's different. Today is a family banquet. Qin Fian smiled helplessly. I understand. As a junior, I should act like one, right? What Grandpa cared about the most was vanity. He wanted all the wealthy families in Haicheng to see how filial his children and grandchildren were. Even when they knew that he had a chauffeur, they still went to pick him up personally, right? Haha. Jiang Zhao got into the car and started it. Don't talk nonsense, or I'll tell on you. Jiang Zhao had an appointment with Zhuang Yichen. Chen Tong's photos were in Zhuang Yichen's hands, so he basically couldn't touch them. In addition, Zhuang Yichen had Jiang Zhao behind him, whom Chen Tong didn't know about. How could he win? Zhuang Yichen's mood wasn't quite right today. Jiang Zhao noticed that he was always in a daze. In his mind, Zhuang Yichen would never be like this. Yichen, what's the matter? Zhuang Yichen lit a cigarette and took a puff. Nothing. After a few puffs, he finished the cigarette and put it in the ashtray. Brother Zhao, regarding Chen Tong's matter, you don't have to worry about me not making progress. I said that I'll help you clear these obstacles, so I'll help you clear them. When the time comes, just don't forget about my benefits. Of course. Jiang Zhao also felt that he had been a little anxious these past 2 days. All right then. I'll be busy during this period of time, so I won't look for you. After Jiang Zhao left, Zhuang Yichen lit another cigarette and slowly paced around Zhao Jun's private room. In this private room, even if he closed his eyes and walked around randomly, he wouldn't touch anything. Perhaps it was because he was familiar with it, or because he had a strong sense of danger, so when he was about to touch danger, he would be on high alert. He closed his eyes and raised his head. He seemed to like wearing black. Although there were some thin silver threads on the black material today, the main body of his clothes was heavy. At this moment, his calm face looked more like the Black Sea, as if there were terrifying waves about to roll up under it. After a while, someone knocked on the door of the private room. "Come in," he shouted. A man with a scar on his nose walked in and greeted respectfully, "Boss." Zhuang Yichen looked at the man with the scar on his nose. He was about to speak, but he stopped. He still needed to think about this problem. The man with the scar on his nose looked at Zhuang Yichen and didn't dare to ask more. He just stood there and waited until Zhuang Yichen walked in front of him. He began to coldly order, "Go and investigate the past between the young master of the Kang family, Kang Yiyun, and Qiu Shaoya. When they met, when they separated, and why they separated, I want to know everything clearly." The man with the scar on his nose was shocked, but he agreed readily, "I'll do it right away. You can leave." After the man with the scar on his nose left the private room, Zhuang Yichen called Qiu Shaoya. "Have dinner with me tonight." "I don't have time," my sister said. "I'll tell you where to eat later. Remember to wear a red dress." Then he hung up the phone. She dared to be so unruly because he gave in to her too much. He wanted to see how arrogant she could be. Zhuang Yichen was the same as Jiang Zhao. They were both male chauvinistic. When everything was going smoothly, they would pretend to be magnanimous and show their so-called respectable gentlemanly demeanor to deceive the world. However, when there were obstacles that affected their pace or mood, they would reveal the most domineering side of their nature. They would boldly and decisively flatten all obstacles, including women's tempers. The Qin family booked a super luxurious private room in Haiyue restaurant that night. The private room was large and luxurious, like a well-decorated European-style palace. The reception desk and the guest lounge were far away. The guests were still chatting. The waiters placed tea, fruits, and other snacks on the table and stood at the reception desk, waiting for the guests' orders. When Yi met Xia Qian here, she was too surprised, so she went to the reception desk to chat with her. When Xia Qian saw Yi, it was as if she saw money. She intimately approached her. Yi, it's hard for me to work the night shift on Sundays. Your family is rich, and you're now the wife of a rich family. Order the more expensive dishes." Xia Qian was a little abnormal because of Shinkai that day. Whenever someone ordered a dish and asked a few questions, her intuition told her that they wanted to order egg fried rice. Yi smiled mischievously. She whispered to Xia Qian, Qian, I came with my parents-in-law today. If I don't know my limits, they will think that I'm not a good daughter-in-law who knows how to manage the family. Will you compensate for the loss? But if you don't order the more expensive dishes, you won't be able to show your family's ability. Your parents-in-law will also be angry. Xia Qian made up a story. Oh, this problem sounds very serious. Yi looked at Xia Qian's work uniform and wanted to laugh. When she was at Peerless Beauty, she also hoped that the guests would order more alcohol so that the commission for the drinks would be higher. She didn't expect Xia Qian to be even more despicable. She caught someone she knew and even ordered the more expensive dishes. They said that they would only choose the right dishes and not the expensive ones. I still have to order according to everyone's preferences. Xia Qian said, expensive. Good dishes are expensive. Good dishes are right. That's why I said that the right dishes are expensive. If you choose the expensive ones, then it must be the right ones. Qian, you studied broadcasting. I can't win against you, but I can definitely win against you if I'm unreasonable. Believe it or not, if you do this again, I'll order a plate of egg fried rice for everyone. Xia Qian was stunned. Yun, if you do such a wicked thing, I'll break off our friendship. Yi took a deep breath. I beg you to break off our friendship. The private room was very big. The two of them were at the service desk in the private room, so no one else could hear them. No matter how I look at you, I feel that you are made of cement. Are you a woman? Awesome novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 532. Xia Qian also replied. That's right. Everyone says men are made of mud, and women are made of water. No matter how I look at you, you look like you are made of plasticine. Are you sure you are Mayor Jiang's cousin and not his cousin? Jiang Zhao hugged Ye's shoulders and did not allow her to speak. He wanted to watch a good show. Qin Fian, this rascal, also got provoked outside? This was news. Qin Fian was friendly to his siblings at home. But outside, he was like a crab. He can do whatever he wants. Xia Qian was really like Qiu Xiaoya. Did they eat leopard's guts? What do you mean by plasticine? Qin Fian thought. If it were not for his sister-in-law, he would have thrown this woman out of his room. He should not be ungentlemanly in front of a lady. Of course, this lady did not include Xia Qian. Xia Qian looked at Qin Fian with an intoxicated expression. She looked like she was looking at AV, and her voice slowly became weird. Plasticine is the type that you can knead however you want. It is very soft. Xia Qian suddenly thought of something. She put away her expression and became more serious, as if she had become closer to Qin Fian. Her change was too fast, making the people around her a little uncomfortable. Hey, I heard you're gay. Are you a top or a bottom? I have read a lot of erotic novels. You are so pretty, and you should be a bottom, right? You should be a bottom who knows how to act coquettishly. You should be very gentle and soft. A soft bottom? Will I get popped? As Xia Qian spoke, she was no longer sarcastic. She had entered a state of thirst for knowledge. She completely ignored Qin Fian's gloomy face and acted like a real media reporter. Is it really the same as what is written in the novels? Will it be more enjoyable than being with a woman? Is it really so good to be raped? Jiang Zhao stood at the side and hugged his uneasy wife. He ignored Qin Fian's impulse to throw away the glasses he used to pretend to be refined. He fanned the fire and asked, Fian, what do you mean by a bottom? What do you mean by a soft bottom? Are you really so gentle when you are a bottom? Wow, I still don't know. What do you mean by being raped? Why don't you tell us about it? Qin Fian didn't expect that Jiang Zhao would also interfere. He clearly wanted to watch a good show and even wanted to protect this girl. Brother, so this is what it means to kick someone to the curb after they've outlived their usefulness? He spoke a little loudly and deliberately spoke to the side where there were more people. Jiang Zhao saw that something was amiss. This brat wanted revenge. After all, he was the only one who knew about last night's incident. So he immediately turned the spearhead to Xia Qian and said, I heard that the Sea Moon restaurant's food takers get a commission. Then hurry up and apologize to young Master Fei Yan. Xia Qian scratched her head and suddenly understood. Mayor Jiang, are you treating us today? To order good dishes? Of course. If you want me to order egg fried rice, you don't have to apologize. Once Xia Qian heard that she was going to order good dishes, she immediately gave Qin Fian a 90-degree bow. After standing up straight, she spoke with a flattering smile. Young Master Fian, please forgive me. I'm young and ignorant. I'm sorry that my rude remarks made you angry. You're a magnanimous person. You won't lower yourself to the same level as me. I'll serve you some tea to ease your anger later as an apology. After that, she bowed to Qin Fian again. Qin Fian didn't know whether he should go up or down now. Xia Qian felt that something was wrong. This young master was still putting on airs. Tonight's abalone, ginseng, shark's fin, and stomach better not be replaced by egg fried rice. Thus, she bowed to Qin Fian again. The people who were sitting and chatting saw the situation here and frowned. What happened? This little girl kept bowing to Fian as if she was apologizing. Qin Fian straightened his arms. If someone wanted to treat him like a big boss, then he would accept it. Moreover, this girl had just made him lose face. What top and bottom? What chrysanthemum explosion? She must have wanted to die. Xia Qian bowed and stood up straight. Yi Er wiped her sweat and shook Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao gently patted her shoulder and stood at the side. Xia Qian looked at Qin Fian and said sincerely, "Young Master Fian, please forgive me. You are born in a prestigious family and have the demeanor of a big family. The way you speak and handle things is different from me, a girl from a poor family. In the future, I will be more careful with my words and actions. I will not cause trouble for young Master Fian anymore." Old Master Qin walked over and shouted, "Fian, what are you doing? This little girl has already apologized to this extent, why are you still acting like this? As long as I'm here, you better keep your bad habits in check." Qin Fian had lost all his face this time. Xia Qian immediately waved her hand and said, "Old Master Qin is too serious. I spoke too much just now. It's not young Master Fian's fault. It's all my fault. Please don't blame him." Qin Fian glared at Xia Qian and said through gritted teeth, "Shut up." Old Master Qin snorted, "Go away. This little girl is trembling because of you." Xia Qian raised her eyebrows proudly. Yi Er saw Old Master Qin dragging Qin Fian away and whispered to Xia Qian, "How dare you be like this in front of grandfather? Heh, Old Master Qin is famous for caring about his reputation. You know." After saying that, she lowered her head and laughed evilly. Jiang Zhao lowered his head and whispered in Yi Er's ear, "Your disciple is too sneaky." "Wrong. I'm her disciple who hasn't finished her apprenticeship. I'm too pure and innocent. I can't reach her level at all." Jiang Zhao kissed Yi Er on the forehead. "My wife is too humble." Xia Qian saw that the two of them were lovey-dovey. She shook off the goosebumps and walked away. "I can't take it anymore. I'm going to ask Old Master what he wants to eat." Yi Er often couldn't tell what kind of person Jiang Zhao was. When he was nice to her, when he was gentle, her heart couldn't help but squeeze. When he squeezed, he wouldn't let go. It didn't hurt, but it made her feel like he was holding on tightly and she was afraid to breathe. "Hubby, have you fallen in love with me?" Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao longingly. Jiang Zhao wanted to break through Yi Er's defenses with one look. He wanted to see the bottom of her eyes. At this moment, they were so clean, just like when she pretended to be pitiful, her eyes were full of pity. He couldn't see the bottom of her eyes. He knew that she was an expert at acting. Her acting skills were so good that they could pass off as real. Then, he accidentally treated her acting as his own life. He deliberately raised his eyebrows and asked, "Why would you think that? If you didn't fall in love with me, would you be so gentle to me? I've always been gentle to women. Didn't you know?" Yi Er still had a bright smile in her eyes, but she felt that there was a spring slowly flowing into her heart. The spring water was astringent and salty. "Of course I know. I'm a gentleman, but I want to remind you that our bed is still there." The man's smile was natural, but the flesh under his skin was extremely uncomfortable. "How could I forget? I can forget my bet with anyone, but I can never forget my bet with a little fox like you." Yi Er didn't look into Jiang Zhao's eyes anymore. She wasn't mature enough. She couldn't stand looking at him for too long. Which nerve of hers short-circuited to ask such a question? The woman raised her arm and hooked it around the man's arm. She leaned her head on his shoulder and asked intimately, "Hubby, what if you lose?" The muscles on the man's back tightened. He reached out and slowly stroked the back of the woman's hand. He smiled warmly and said, "Honey, what if you lose?" Yi Er didn't answer. What should she do? What could she do with a bet that had no stakes? What would she lose? Actually, she couldn't lose anything. Why didn't she admit that she had lost? What did she insist on? Then what if we don't lose? Jiang Zhao reached out and stroked the woman's chin. What a harmonious couple, isn't it? She knew that he was such a proud person. From the day she forced herself to marry him, they were destined to have a loveless marriage. They didn't lose. Wasn't it very harmonious? Actually, it had long been disharmonious. At the family banquet, Yun Hongwei didn't seem reserved. Not only did Si Jia look likable, but he also spoke like an adult. When there were many people, he wouldn't embarrass Yi Er like he did at home. He would often praise his sister for being smart, virtuous, and considerate. Jiang Zhao felt that this brother-in-law of his was a shrewd person. Yi Er had been raised like a daughter of a wealthy family outside. The Qin family was very satisfied with Yi Er's performance. The people at the table walked around the wine table. They were just saying some polite words. Qin Rongfang had a sage-like temperament. He was always wearing a button-up shirt. The weather was cold, so the material was thicker. He was always putting on the airs of a scholar. From time to time, he would say a few words. It was obvious that he was very eloquent. Lai Qing, when will Zhao Zhao and Yi Er's wedding be? If his grandfather can't handle it, I'll take care of it. Jiang Liqing didn't dare to say anything about this. Dad, Zhao Zhao's grandfather has been worrying about the date recently. It's lively to have a holiday on New Year's Day, but the date according to the lunar calendar isn't too good. Qin Zhen continued and said sarcastically, "Who are you calling Dad? Who's your dad?" This topic smoothly transitioned from the younger generation's wedding date to the older generation's grudges. Old Master Qin was between Jiang Liqing and Qin Zhen. This seat was very strange. Qin Zhen and Si Jia sat together, while Jiang Liqing and Yun Hongwei sat together. The others followed suit and sat down. With this commotion, Qin Rongfang felt that he couldn't maintain his image anymore. Jiang Liqing said, "Don't you know who else at this table can make me call Dad? A father for a day, a father for life. Am I wrong to call him Dad?" Qin Zhen looked unhappy. "I don't know where such a person comes from in this world. You're divorced, but you still come to someone else's house all day long. Who wants you to come?" Jiang Liqing was a little embarrassed, but he was already used to Qin Zhen being like this. It was just that he was forced to get used to it. Zhao Zhao is not my son after the divorce. Dad is not my dad after the divorce. Zhao Zhao is your son, but Dad is my dad, not your dad. Qin Zhen looked up and stared hard at Jiang Zhao. She happened to meet Jiang Zhao's gaze at this moment. Jiang Zhao laughed dryly. He only felt that he was unlucky. He should have lowered his head to eat just now. That way, he wouldn't have been used as a meat shield. He glanced at Qin Rongfang. Qin Rongfang could only laugh dryly. This daughter couldn't be disciplined. Although she was old, mistemper was still there. People said that the son was the seedling at home, while the daughter was the water that was spilled out. However, he had spoiled his daughter since they were young and didn't spoil his son. This couple had quarreled for more than 10 years, and he had endured it. Lai Qin, you're right. Dad likes to hear you call him that. If you don't call me Dad, what should I call you? No matter what you call me, it's not appropriate. Dad, you said that he's not wrong. Are you saying that I'm wrong? Qin Zhen stood up. How can there be such an ignorant person like him? He comes to all kinds of banquets. He should have come during the engagement ceremony. Why is he coming now? If I knew that he was coming, I wouldn't have come. Come and see. Xinwu 799. Chapter 533. Yi Er was still all right. She had heard Jiang Zhao talk about it and had seen the two of them bicker before. However, the most awkward person was Yun Hongwei. He felt as if he was sitting on pins and needles. He could neither persuade nor not persuade them. It was as if the couple was quarreling because of him. When he stood up, Yun Hongwei picked up the wine bottle and poured a glass of white wine for Jiang Liqing. He then walked to Qin Zhen and picked up the decanter to pour her a glass of sober red wine. He smiled generously and said, in-law, come and sit." Qin Zhen had forgotten her manners. She was a little uncomfortable being asked to sit by Yun Hongwei. It was not the right time to lose her temper today. Jiang Liqing's expression was also a little unnatural. After all, not all of his relatives were here today. He had lost all his face. In the past, Qingjin would still care about it, but he didn't know what was going on today. Yun Hongwei returned to his seat and raised his glass. He first clinked it with Jiang Liqing's glass. Jiang Liqing quickly stood up. Yun Hongwei then raised his glass towards Qingjin. Qingjin also raised her glass of red wine. She reached out and clinked it with Yun Hongwei's small white wine glass. She smiled apologetically. Yun Hongwei held his glass and looked at Qingjin and Jiang Liqing. His eyes were shining with sincerity. He seemed to swallow his saliva and spoke a little slowly. "In-law, our Yi heir is so lucky to be married into your family. To be honest, when I first found out, I didn't dare to believe it. I felt that I was climbing up the social ladder. Yi heir told me that her parents-in-law were easy to get along with. They never said anything harsh." Yun Hongwei said and paused. "So, our Yi heir is so lucky. I don't even know how many lifetimes of good fortune she has accumulated." Yi heir felt a little inferior. Everyone could see that her father was trying to smooth things over. If the Yun family was still in power, these words would not be said. Just as she was about to lower her head, Jiang Zhao reached out and gently held her hand. She suddenly felt that she had someone to rely on and her sense of inferiority slowly disappeared. Jiang Liqing naturally felt Yun Hongwei's good intentions. He said, "In-law, what are you talking about? What do you mean by climbing up the social ladder? As long as the child likes it, we adults are happy. They are the ones living their lives. Let's not talk about family status. Moreover, Yi heir is a very obedient child. How could I have said anything harsh to her?" Qingjin glanced at Yi heir. Her head was slightly lowered, and her arm was leaning against her son's arm. The two hands seemed to be holding each other tightly under the table. She sighed. "If our Zhao Zhao likes it, we will all like it. In-law, you don't have to say that. We're a family." Yun Hongwei smiled. Yes. Family, family. Let's have a drink." The sound of wine glasses clinking was accompanied by the laughter of the three middle-aged men. Suddenly, the atmosphere changed, becoming joyous and harmonious. Qin Rongfang finally breathed a sigh of relief. When everyone calmed down, Qin Feiyu took a sip of juice, turned his head and asked Yi heir with a smile, "Sister-in-law, people are going to have Xiao Bao after getting married. When are you going to have a baby? When you guys give birth to little Bao, you have to let me play with it." Yi heir was very nervous about this question. With a marriage like theirs, would they have a baby? Jiang Zhao felt the hand in his palm tensing up and sweating. He said to Qin Feiyu, "Your sister-in-law is still so young. How can we have a baby? Moreover, I don't want a baby now. We'll talk about it after a few years." Yi heir sighed. So he really didn't want a child. Qin Rongfang was not satisfied. He said angrily, "What else do you want to be considered stable? Tell me, if this isn't stable, what else can be considered stable? Then everyone in the country shouldn't have children." Even Jiang Liqing said at this time, "Jiang Zhao, let's not drag this matter out. You know about your brother's situation. It's not easy to have a child." Jiang Zhao's heart sank. "Don't worry. If we want one in the future, we will." Yi heir hurriedly said, "I still want to find a school to study at. I've already found one. I'll be starting tutoring next week, and then I'll be taking exams. So, we'll talk about having a child in a few years." Jiang Zhao glanced at Yi heir, then turned back. Qingjin said, "I don't care about your matters. Go to the hospital tomorrow for a physical examination. If everything is normal, you can have a child whenever you want." Jiang Zhao knew what his mother meant. She felt that this was too respectful, but Yi heir had already nodded. "Okay, Mom. We'll go for a physical examination tomorrow." Jiang Zhao's phone rang. He looked at it and saw that it was Zhuang Yichen. He got up and said he would go out to answer it. The northern end of the floor of Haiwa Tower was very quiet. Jiang Zhao walked over and picked up the phone. Zhuang Yichen said that he had found someone to hack Shintong's computer. Moreover, all the IP addresses that he had contacted since the day the photos were taken were all hacked. The photos should be safe now. Jiang Zhao smiled. Did you take stimulants today? You're so fast. Yeah, I was bored out of my mind. Zhuang Yichen sat in the cruise restaurant and looked at the empty seat opposite him. He squeezed the knife and fork in his hand and narrowed his eyes. I can't find anything to do. Let's get Shintong in as soon as possible. It's not fun to play with him at all. Okay. Jiang Zhao smiled unrestrainedly. After hanging up, Zhuang Yichen made a call and asked coldly, where did Xiao and Xiaoya go? Boss, I've been following Miss Qiu. She went to the hospital. Young Master Kong is hospitalized. It seems like he was in a car accident and is being treated. After hanging up, Zhuang Yichen pinched the phone between his fingers and massaged his temples. There was a blood vessel inside that was throbbing violently. There was a fire in the blood vessel that was burning fiercely. He rarely let her eat with him outside, and the few times he did, he chose a very private place. It had been almost 4 years. The number of times they ate out could be counted with one hand. She actually dared to stand him up today. Her phone was turned off. The number that was originally turned off suddenly appeared on his phone screen. He wanted to pick it up quickly but paused for 2 seconds. He slid it open and put it to his ear. What time is it? Boss, I'm sorry. My phone ran out of battery just now. I changed the battery. I don't have time to go tonight, come here immediately. Zhuang Yichen's voice was still very slow, but his tone was heavier. Xiaoya was silent for a while. That's not right. Why did she still call him boss? We're even now. We've already said that we're breaking up. Zhuang Yichen, don't go too far. Zhuang Yichen chuckled. We're even. Qiu Xiaoyao, we agreed on 4 years. During this time, I'll raise you up and give you the fame and fortune you want. When the contract ends, I'll transfer the ownership of the house to you. I'll take care of your family matters. If I want to end it, you won't lose anything. But if you want to end it, I'll stop paying you and the house won't be transferred. But have you forgotten? I've already transferred the ownership of the house to you. Zhuang, you were the one who said that it's just a house. Even if it's only for a month, you should give it to me. I said that I'll return it to you. I didn't force you. Why are you acting like a gentleman now? Huh, so what? If I give you the house, it means that our relationship will end after 4 years. So, you're still mine now. You're too much. Qiu Xiaoyao, don't blame me for not reminding you. People who are in a car accident are very fragile. If something goes wrong, it'll be troublesome. You'd better drive over quickly while I still have patience. You asked someone to do it? Zhuang Yichen listened to Xiaoya's questioning and pinched the bridge of his nose. I don't need to explain it to you. You're a jerk. Oh. Zhuang Yichen raised his wrist and looked at his watch. It seems like you want to know how a jerk does things. Xiaoya held the phone and heard the beeping sound. She shouted a few times, hello, hello, hello. She turned around and saw that the, in emergency, light on the top of the door of the emergency room was still on. She bit the corner of the phone in her mouth. Her lips trembled violently as if they had been frozen by the cold wind. She remembered that she had said to the person inside before, you are my life. My life is called Kong Ian. Jiang Zhao hung up the phone and was about to return to the private room when the door of the first private room opened. High heels stepped out and fell on the carpet without a sound. When the door closed, there was a click sound. When he looked up, Jiang Zhao smiled. Ouyang Yan walked over. Second brother. Yan Yan is here too? Yes, Dad is treating someone to dinner tonight. What about you? Jiang Zhao slid the phone into his trouser pocket. Family dinner. Aren't family dinners rarely held outside? Yang Yan knew that the Qin mansion had a special dining area. Most family dinners were usually held at home. Yes, because I always eat at home, I'm a little tired of it. Thinking about it, that didn't seem to be the case. The Qin family's chef always made a lot of food. He remembered that day when she was hospitalized, she cried and said that she wanted to eat sea cucumber. He said that he would take her to eat the best sea cucumber in High City. He also knew that she was acting at that time, but he always took her acting seriously. He treated it as a request. She wanted to eat sea cucumber, and he agreed to it. That was all. Yang Yan smiled gently. Your mouth has always been so picky. People from Bingyi River. She reached out and touched the corner of Jiang Zhao's mouth affectionately as before. Look at you. You didn't even wipe your mouth before running out. This isn't like you. Without Jiang Zhao by his side, Yi Er couldn't help but feel reserved. He found an excuse to come out and look for someone. The carpet was very thick, and the woman's footsteps were very light. He slowly retracted his steps. He really didn't come at the right time. So it was Yang Yan who called to look for him. Some people said that when a man was willing to cover up, it meant that he still cared. When he didn't care anymore, he couldn't even be bothered to pretend. Perhaps he cared about her feelings and didn't say that he came out to see Yang Yan. As she walked back, she bumped into Yunwu's arms. She was still a little dazed. When she raised her head, she rubbed her temples. Yunwu. Sister-in-law, what a coincidence. Yunwu supported Yi Er's shoulders. After she steadied herself, he let go and took a step back, maintaining a polite distance. You're eating here too? After Yi Er confirmed that it was Yunwu, the first thing she did was to size him up from head to toe. It wasn't obvious on his face, but there was still some green at the corner of his eyebrows. The stray hair on his forehead covered some of it. Is your injury better? It's not a big deal. It doesn't affect my movements. Grandpa invited a few uncles to dinner today and insisted that I come over. Yunwu was a little distant from Yi Er. That kind of distance was very natural. Yi Er couldn't help but sigh softly. Perhaps after the fight, he was afraid of provoking her. This was really a misunderstanding. Yunwu, I'm sorry. I asked you to draw the painting, but Jiang Zhao took his anger out on you. I'm very sorry that things ended up like this. Sister-in-law, why are you saying all this? It's normal that Zhao Ge can't understand. I think if it were me, I wouldn't be able to accept it either. You should be more open-minded. Don't always take it to heart. Beauty novel, Hongcha 866. Chapter 534. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's okay. Speaking of which, I'm calling you sister-in-law. Actually, you've known me for a long time, and we can be considered friends. I'm not used to you saying I'm sorry all the time. Has your nature changed after you got married? You rarely apologize to others in the past. Or do you not treat me as a friend anymore? Yunwu was so magnanimous that Yi Er felt even more ashamed. How could that be? Of course you're my friend. We've known each other for almost 2 years. Hiss, Yunwu gasped softly. What's the matter? I'm looking for a place to apply some medicine. My brow bone hurts a little. I told Grandpa that it doesn't hurt anymore. I'm afraid that he'll see me applying the medicine, so I'll find a place to apply it. It'll be fine after some air. His nose isn't very good. Let me apply it for you. Yunwu refused. No need. How pretentious. Come on, I'll apply it for you. Yunwu really took out a thin glass bottle from his pocket. It was about the size of a bottle of essential balm. Yi Er took the bottle, unscrewed the cap, and applied a little of the medicine onto his fingertips. Are you applying it on your brow bone like this? Yes. Unwoo closed his eyes. Yi Er brushed the hair in front of his forehead. The bruises on his fair face looked particularly hideous. When he applied the medicine, Unwoo shrank back a little. Does it hurt a lot? Unwoo frowned. It doesn't hurt. Yi Er knew that Unwoo was a weak scholar. How could he withstand Jiang Zhao's punches? Her high heels had already lengthened her. At this moment, when she stood in front of Unwoo, there wasn't much of a difference in their heights. She stood on her tiptoes and brushed the fresh strands of hair in front of his forehead away. Unwoo felt a cool breeze blowing into his bone from his brow bone, penetrating into every cell in his body. Yi Er was startled when the bottle in his hand was suddenly snatched away. He quickly stood up straight and turned around. Jiang Zhao gripped the small bottle in his hand so tightly that his knuckles turned white. His eyes were terrifyingly cold, and all that came with them was a snowstorm that cut people. Ouyang Yen was still by his side, standing very close to him. His gaze was as if he had followed Jiang Zhao here to capture him. Yi Er felt as if a piece of rotten cotton was stuck in her heart. Not only did it not allow her to breathe, it also made her feel disgusted. Yin Yi, what did I tell you? Yi Er's wrist was grabbed by the man's strong hand and lifted. She replied indifferently and did not respond at all. She was like a chick caught in a net, waiting for the man to punish her. It was a kind of determination to face death with equanimity. How could she not remember that he said that she was not allowed to be alone with Unwoo again? Even if Yunwoo's girlfriend asked her out, she was not allowed to go. She had agreed. She had agreed because she could not afford to offend him, because she liked him. Was it because of this that only the state officials were allowed to set fires, but the common people were not even allowed to strike a flint? He could find a secluded place and whisper sweet nothings to his ex-mistress. She could not even speak to a boy who called her sister-in-law. What does mean? Jiang Zhao could no longer care that Ouyang Yen was still beside him. He could not care less that Shi Yunwoo was still standing at the side waiting to laugh at him. Wasn't that just letting them laugh at him? It means exactly what it means. Yi Er endured the pain from her wrist and tiptoed lightly. She looked at Ouyang Yen with a faint smile and whispered in his ear, "Your mistress is watching. Aren't you afraid that she will be jealous if you hold my hand so intimately? When she throws a tantrum later, you won't be able to appease her. Why are you asking for trouble?" Jiang Zhao slowly let go of Yi Er's hand. He slowly let go, and a gust of air surged out from his chest. He exhaled and turned his head slightly, looking at Ouyang Yen who was standing at the side. He then looked at the woman in front of him. Her face was bright and beautiful. The man standing behind her still had some scars on his face, but his eyes were clear and calm. What a match. These two were both masters of acting. She also knew that Ouyang Yen would be jealous. She knew. She just felt that another woman should be jealous, and she was not the one who should be jealous. Did she really not feel anything at all? Not at all. Just now, when Ouyang Yen came to wipe his mouth, he subconsciously took a step back and took out a handkerchief to wipe it himself. However, she did not avoid suspicion and went to apply medicine for Shi Yunwoo. She really did not feel anything at all. She did not know what a married person was supposed to do. She had no feelings and no sense of responsibility. Talking about responsibility with her was like talking to a cow. Thinking about what she had said to him in the private room, he sighed and said, "Let's go back and eat first. We'll talk when we get home." Yi Er said goodbye to Unwoo and snatched the medicine bottle from Jiang Zhao's hand to return it to Unwoo. Unwoo did not say anything from beginning to end. He only smiled apologetically at Yi Er. Ouyang Yen called out to Jiang Zhao, "Brother Er, I want to treat you to a meal tomorrow." Jiang Zhao turned to look at Yi Er. Yi Er smiled nonchalantly and looked up. Jiang Zhao's heart skipped a beat. He turned to look at Ouyang Yen and said, "Okay. Let me know when the place is booked." On the way back, Jiang Zhao did not speak. Yi Er did not speak either. It was not until they got into bed and covered themselves with the blanket that Yi Er said, "I don't care about you. Can you not be so hot-tempered next time? I was just applying medicine for Unwoo. We didn't go on a date. It's not like you've fallen in love with me. Do you have to be like this? Jiang Zhao turned around and said, okay, but you have to be mindful of your image next time. There are too many people out there. I don't want to be the talk of others after a meal. Oh, you mean I don't have to be mindful of my image when there's no one around? Yi Er propped himself up and looked at Jiang Zhao's side profile. Jiang Zhao turned around and said, don't you dare. He choked on the words and swallowed them. He smiled and said, there's no such thing as a perfect wall. Don't you know that? As long as our marriage survives, you should keep your chastity and self-control. Okay. Good night. Yi Er lay down. She felt that this sleep did not feel good. He was very reasonable today, and it was all her fault. That was not all. He even wanted to have a cold war with her, but he actually turned his back and ignored her. She twisted and turned again until she was behind Jiang Zhao. She pressed herself against him and asked with a smile, self-control doesn't include abstinence, right? She looked up at the back of his head and winked. I'm going to make it clear. If you want me to keep my chastity, you have to give me the conditions to keep my chastity. For example, you have to satisfy me in terms of physical facilities. For example, I'm already used to it when it's late at night. If you insist on withholding my food because of another woman. Yi Er awkwardly said, I have to look for food to fill my stomach when I'm hungry, right? Jiang Zhao turned around and pushed Yi Er away. He propped his head up with his elbow and gently pulled the corners of his mouth. He looked at Yi Er and asked ambiguously, oh? When have I ever been short of food? I think you're trying to cut my food today. Yi Er's face was a little red, but she still forced herself to say that she did not care. This guy was going to have dinner with his lover tomorrow. What about after dinner? Or what if the two of them met before dinner? I'm not used to mistreating women. Jiang Zhao still did not move. He just stared at Yi Er. Nonsense. You're obviously trying to mistreat me. Yi Er reached out to tug at Jiang Zhao's pajamas. Jiang Zhao reached out and grabbed Yi Er's hand, not allowing her to undo the clasp. Jiang Zhao, we've agreed that we won't quarrel at the head of the bed. I'm not quarreling with you. Are we quarreling? Yi Er flipped over and straddled Jiang Zhao. She pulled at his clothes and pants, but the man was strong. At this moment, he valued Jinjie very much and did not let her have her way. She could not win against him. Forget it. Look at you. Forget it. I'm hungry. Let's go out and look for food. Yi Er swung her hand angrily. This man was amazing. He had a woman. That woman was prettier than her, gentler than her, and more affectionate than her. Yi Er had just gotten off the bed when Jiang Zhao sat up. Yin Yi, where are you going? Where am I going? You have a lover outside. You can eat your fill anytime. I'm at a disadvantage. I have to find a man. If I can't eat my fill at home, I can eat outside. Yi Er walked barefooted to the wardrobe. Then she pulled open the wardrobe and began to rummage through her clothes. Just as she found a shirt, like she was rummaging through a sweater, her hand touched the hanger. The man pulled her over. What do you mean? Nothing. I just want to find a man to relieve my loneliness. Yi Er wanted to push Jiang Zhao away, but she could not. You're lonely. Very lonely. Yi Er rolled her eyes at Jiang Zhao. Then tell me, how do you want to relieve your loneliness? When Jiang Zhao smiled, it was a little evil. It made people feel that he would do something evil in the next second. If I don't tell you, you won't understand. After Yi Er said this, her whole body was pressed against the wardrobe by the man. If you don't tell me, how will I understand? The mesh panties were removed and thrown to the floor. When the man squeezed in, Yi Er panted and hit him. Jiang Zhao, I like to do it in bed. Then tell me, how do you want to relieve your loneliness? The wardrobe door banged loudly as it was knocked open. The sound of it banging against the door echoed in the bedroom. In the morning, after Jiang Zhao got up and gave his usual morning kiss, he asked Yi Er, "Darling, are you lonely?" Yi Er had a pair of panda eyes. She rubbed her sore legs and shook her head. "No, I'm not lonely." She thought to herself, whoever calls themselves lonely in the future is a pig. Jiang Zhao had an appointment with someone and asked Yi Er not to get up to make breakfast today. Yi Er thought to herself that she would not be able to get up either. She slept until noon. It was Si Jia who went upstairs to wake her up. "Si Jia, what time is it? Are you going to school? I'll get up and send you off." Si Jia shook his head and looked a little depressed. "Are you hungry?" Si Jia shook his head. "Dad took the wontons you made from the fridge. We already had breakfast." "It's noon." "Yes." Si Jia nodded. Yi Er sat up. "Then go downstairs and wait for me. I'll go down and cook when I'm done." "Sis, Mom is here." Yi Er was shocked. She originally looked a little sluggish, but all of a sudden, it was as if someone had given her a shot of stimulant. All her tiredness disappeared. "Mom?" "Yes, she's downstairs." Si Jia looked into Yi Er's eyes. "She's here to ask Dad for a divorce." Yi Er trembled as she took a deep breath. Then she glared at Si Jia and slapped him on the back. "What are you doing up here? Go down and accompany Dad, you bastard." Si Jia jumped off the bed from the slap. "Yun Yi. You bitch. Go down." Yi Er scratched her head. "I'll come down immediately after I change." The woman sitting in the living room downstairs did not seem to have experienced any disaster. It was as if everything that had happened to the Yun family had nothing to do with her. She still had the aura of a rich and powerful woman. She was dressed in the latest branded clothes of the season. Come and take a look. Xinwu 799. Chapter 535. She did not look at Yun Hongwei. When she heard footsteps coming down the stairs, she quickly turned around. Si Jia came down from upstairs. The woman stood up and changed her cold expression into a gentle smile. "Si Jia, come over to Mommy." Si Jia threw herself into the woman's arms. "Mommy, take a seat first. Sister will come down soon." Yi Er missed her mother. Before she got married, she always missed her mother. Whenever she encountered difficulties, she would miss her mother. She had gone to ask for help under the scorching sun and was chased out. When she was surrounded by enemies, she missed her mother. She did not dare to waste money on taxis and did not know which bus to take. She walked from one bus stop to another in exhaustion and missed her mother. Si Jia fell sick and had a high fever. In the middle of the night, she carried her brother out to take a taxi to the hospital in the pouring rain. When she called her brother's name, he did not answer. She was so anxious that she cried and missed her mother. It was her first time using gas. The gas stove was very old and she needed a lighter. The flame went boom, and she was so frightened that she threw the lighter away and hid by the door. She missed her mother. She dialed her mother's old number again and again. She missed her mother. Every time she made a decision, she thought about her mother. If her mother was here, would she agree to her doing this? Was she doing the right thing? If her mother was here, would there be a better way? Later on, she felt that she did not have a mother. If she did, how could her mother bear to let her live like this? Later on, she felt that perhaps her mother was suffering more than her. Perhaps her mother was just afraid of implicating her. But standing at the top of the stairs and looking at the woman carrying Si Jia, she did not change at all in the past 2 years. She was still the same. She was like a rich madam, an elegant and luxurious madam. She had a beautiful face, luxurious clothes and jewelry, and meticulously painted nails. She looked at this woman who she had missed for a long time. She could not even call out the word mommy. When she heard Si Jie say that this mommy was here to divorce daddy, she could not say it. Yun Hongwei stood up and looked at Yi Er. She was crying silently. His heart ached so much that he could not speak. He walked over and hugged Yi Er in his arms. He said softly, "Yi Er, call mommy." Yi Er turned around and threw herself into Yun Hongwei's arms. She cried, "Daddy! Daddy!" She just kept calling out, "Dad!" Si Jie jumped out of Zhou Li's arms, ran over, and hugged Yi Er's waist. Sister, don't cry. If you're unhappy, I'll sit there. I won't go. I'll sit with you." Zhou Li stood with bright lipstick on her lips. The distance between Yi Er and her made it impossible for her to maintain her elegance. Choking with sobs, she said, "Yi Er, Mom, it's not easy for Mom either." Yi Er didn't look at Zhou Li. She just buried herself in Yun Hongwei's arms. Her tears and snot were all over her father's clothes. She nodded. I know. She wished that her mother didn't have it easy. She hated herself a little. She hated herself for being so narrow-minded. Why did she have to be so jealous? Why couldn't she think that it was fine as long as her mother was living well? But even if he was that old, what about Si Jie? How old was Si Jie back then? 7 years old. As a mother, how could she bear to let her 7-year-old daughter take care of her 7-year-old son? How could she rest assured that her daughter was living well on her own? How could she not find out what kind of life her children were living? Her life was so rich. If she wanted to find out, wouldn't it be easy? If she had found out, how could she bear to watch her daughter run around day and night? How could she bear to watch her daughter being driven into a corner time and time again? Her daughter was only 17 years old at that time. A 17-year-old girl who only knew about daily necessities. She really couldn't imagine how powerful a mother she was. Yi Er vented her emotions with tears. She felt that she could cry properly. Her parents were here and she was still a child. Why couldn't she cry? Even if her heart was torn apart, she was still reasonable. After venting her emotions with great difficulty, she pulled Si Jie to sit on a long sofa. Yun Hongwei sat alone on a short sofa. Zhou Li dragged a stool and sat opposite Yi Er. Yi Er looked at Yun Hongwei and asked, "Does Dad agree to the divorce?" Yun Hongwei nodded. "Yes, he agrees." Yi Er patted Si Jie's head. "Then let's go and settle the paperwork tomorrow on Monday. Since both parties have agreed, there's nothing much to say." Perhaps it was because children who had experienced such family changes were exceptionally mature. Si Jie did not cry and throw a tantrum like the children in those cliché novels and TV dramas. He did not cry for his parents to be separated and cried for his parents to be together. He listened to his sister's arrangements and nodded. He did not seem to be reluctant at all. No matter whether Zhou Li looked at Yi Er or Si Jie, she could not catch their eyes. She knew that Yi Er was avoiding her. "Yi Er, I was thinking, what do you think about Si Jie and me, and you and Dad?" Yi Er's originally weak body suddenly trembled. She looked up. Her previously empty eyes suddenly lit up as she stared at Zhou Yan. "What did you say?" Yun Hongwei stood up. "What did you say?" Yi Er walked over and sat Yun Hongwei down on his seat. She handed him a teacup and said, "Dad, have some water." He returned to his seat and said, "Mom, not only did you come to ask for a divorce, you also want custody rights?" Zhou Li folded her hands on her knees. They were very white, and the nail polish on her nails was bright and beautiful. At this moment, she nervously clenched her hands and looked at Yi Er. She gently licked her lips and said, "Yi Er, Mom knows that I've let you down in the past 2 years. I know that you've suffered a lot, but you're doing well now. Jiang Zhao is so well-to-do. You won't have to worry for the rest of your life. As long as you're doing well, Mom will be at ease. Si Jie is still young and needs a mother's love. Si Jie and I." Yun Hongwei's expression did not look right. He reached out and pressed his chest, but he could not speak. As Yi Er listened to Zhou Li's words, she completely ignored her father's reaction. She only felt that her heart was in a mess. Someone kept tugging and tugging at it. It was a mess. She wanted to tug at it again, but it only broke and hurt. She panted as if she had asthma. The grievances in her heart, which she had been holding back, all poured out like a flood of tears. "Mom, Mom!" Yi Er shouted twice. She clenched her teeth tightly and raised her head. When her small chin was raised, streaks of tears fell from her chin. That cry of great grief and pain tore at Yun Hongwei's face until it turned even paler. Yi Er stretched out her arms and hugged Si Jia tightly. Si Jia anxiously shouted, "Sister, I won't go. I won't leave you." Yi Er rested her face on the top of Si Jia's head. Her tears drowned Si Jia's head. Si Jia missed his mother, but he was even more afraid that his sister would be sad. At this moment, he could only let his sister hug him tightly. He knew that this was his sister's reaction when she lacked a sense of security. He only wanted to grow up quickly and give her that sense of security. Yi Er's breath was trembling. Her voice also trembled. "Mom, what are you saying to me? You're apologizing to me? You're saying that you know that I've suffered a lot. Mom, what could be more hurtful than these words? Mom, why did you say it? I'd rather you not say it for the rest of your life. I'm doing well, so you came out? I didn't marry a hooligan, so you came out? You're relieved? Mom, you know that I've suffered a lot. You know that Si Jia and I depend on each other, so you want to take Si Jia away?" Yi Er bit her lips for a long time, until blood seeped out. "Was I a burden in the past? Just because I had no one to rely on, you didn't even want Si Jia? Si Jia needs a mother's love, but don't I? Do I really not need it? When Dad got into trouble, I was only 17 years old. Don't I need a mother's love? You want me to be a mother at the age of 17. Do you think that I was born without a mother's love?" Faced with Yi Er's indignant accusations, Zhou Li covered her face and sobbed. Her voice came out from between her fingers with a whimper. "Yi Er, Mom has her own difficulties. Please forgive Mom. Mom knows that it's been hard on you. Mom owes you. Mom owes you." Yi Er's nasal voice was very heavy after crying. "What do you owe me? You gave birth to me and allowed me to see the light of this world. I owe you everything. Everything I have now is a gift from my parents. You don't owe me anything. But Si Jia is Dad's life. You can't take him away." Zhou Li glared at her. "Yi Er, you can't be so biased. It's not fair that you're biased towards your father. No matter how young it was." Yi Er felt insecure, so she hugged Si Jia and placed him on her knees. Si Jia was as obedient as a cat, wrapped in Yi Er's arms and allowed her to stroke his head. He no longer mentioned anything taboo. Yi Er looked at Zhou Yan. Aside from the pain and tears in her eyes, her voice was filled with a desperate pleading. "Fair? How can Mom be fair? Is Dad not fair to you? Ever since I can remember, Dad has never mistreated you. He gave you everything you wanted. When you said you wanted to have morning tea, he took a private jet to Guangzhou early in the morning. When you said you wanted to go to the hot springs, he immediately arranged a trip to take you to Japan. If you took a few more glances at something, he would buy it for you even if you didn't ask. Even when he got into trouble, and you didn't visit him, he didn't blame you. Now that you say you want a divorce, he feels that he has nothing. Even if he loves you, he won't ask you to stay. This man only wants you to live well. Mom, as a person, can you not be so ruthless? Can't you just treat it as keeping Si Jia by Dad's side as a memento for him? Just treat it as if this man has fallen into your hands for the rest of his life. Just give in to him this once, okay?" Zhou Li clenched her fists tightly, not daring to look Yi Er in the eye. Yi Er's words were like a thorny whip lashing her body. Yun Hongwei clutched his chest, his breathing getting louder and louder. His voice was disproportionately weak. Yi Er, don't say any more. Yi Er turned around and saw that Yun Hongwei's lips had turned purple. Suddenly, her brain went blank, as if she lacked oxygen. Dad. She put Si Jie down and ran over. Dad. Si Jie also shouted anxiously. Yi Er supported Yun Hongwei, not daring to move. She straightened her neck and shouted at Si Jie with a red face, Si Jie, go and get the phone. Call your brother-in-law. Hurry. At this moment, Jiang Zhao had just come out of his office. When he saw the call from home, he instinctively felt that it was Yi Er asking if he wanted to go home for dinner. He wanted to put on airs, so he let the phone ring once. Soon, it rang a second time. Jiang Zhao was a little pleased. Now you know how to look for me, right? Now you know how important I am, right? Now you know how to ask me to go home for dinner, right? Little guy. It wasn't until the phone rang a third time that he slid it open to answer it. The woman's voice on the other end was so loud that her nose was blocked from crying. Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao. Yun Yi. Jiang Zhao raised his voice and slapped himself in the ear. He tilted his head, clamped the phone on his shoulder, started the car, and asked anxiously, Yun Yi, where are you? Awesome novel, Hongcha 866. Chapter 536. Yi Er shouted into the phone. It was as if she had fallen into an abyss and had grabbed onto a vine. However, she was physically weak and was afraid that her hand would slip. That kind of panic and fear broke through the receiver and reached the man's eardrums. Hubby, come back quickly. Come back quickly. My dad is in trouble. My dad is dying. Hurry, what should I do? Hubby, where are you? Jiang Zhao. Yun Yi, I'll be right there. I'll be right there. Don't cry. Be good. Don't cry. Jiang Zhao stepped on the accelerator and brake pedal to the limit. He stopped very quickly. He was so anxious that he almost hit the car, but he still calmly comforted Yi Er. Yun Yi, what's wrong with Dad? Tell me the situation. I'll immediately find the relevant doctors and ambulances. Take your time. Don't rush. Yi Er's voice was sobbing. Dad is holding onto his chest. He's in great pain. Also, Dad can't speak. His lips are purple. Okay, don't move Dad. Lay him down. I'll be right there. Jiang Zhao called the hospital director and explained the situation. The hospital acted quickly. They roughly determined that it was a heart problem. The ambulance and the corresponding rescue equipment were all ready. There weren't many cars on Sunday afternoon. Jiang Zhao drove very fast, but the ambulance was more convenient than a private car. So, when he arrived downstairs, Yun Hongwei had just been carried down. Seeing that Yi Er was holding Si Jie tightly with one hand and was unwilling to let go of him while holding the stretcher with the other hand, Jiang Zhao felt a sharp pain in his heart. When he strode over, Yun Hongwei had just been carried into the car. Yi Er immediately bent down to carry Si Jie. Jiang Zhao knew how important Si Jie was to Yi Er, so he wanted to carry him for her. At this moment, Jolie rushed over and pulled Si Jie into her embrace. She grabbed him tightly and said, Yi Er, let mommy take Si Jie away. I beg you, please give Si Jie to mommy. Yi Er was already confused about her own position. She felt like she was being torn apart. On one side was her father, and on the other side was her mother. People said that if there were two children, to the parents, both were meat on the palms of their hands. But what about parents? Were the palms and backs of their hands the same? Do I have to make a choice? She had no choice but to be biased. Her father needed Si Jie, and her mother was living so comfortably. She was so young, and her father had nothing. She had once known that people in wealthy families valued their sons. A son was the hope of a family. It was a heavy blow for a man to lose his career in his 40s. If even the only heir of the Yun family was gone, what would he do? Yi Er was afraid of wasting time, so she rushed over and tried to pry Zhou Li's hand away. "Mommy, let go. Leave Si Jia to Daddy and me. You're living so well. Give Si Jia to Daddy." Her words were pleading, but her actions were extremely rough. Even her eyes were red. It was as if she was fighting with someone she had a grudge with. Si Jia grabbed Yi Er's arm and stomped his feet anxiously. "Sister, sister. Mommy, I want to be with sister." Zhou Li coaxed Si Jia. Her grip was not light. "Si Jia, leave with mommy. Mommy will love you well. Si Jia, don't leave mommy." Yi Er was afraid that Si Jia would be coaxed away. After all, he was still a child. His stance would definitely be wavering. "Mommy, you can't do this. Daddy didn't say that he didn't agree to your divorce. You can't take Si Jia away. You can't. Daddy is in the hospital. Yi Er, you and Daddy. Let Si Jia stay with me. Each of the two children will have one. It's fair." Yi Er shook her head as she tugged at Si Jia. "I don't want to be with anyone. I'm already married. I have a family. I have a husband. Daddy only has one child now. I don't want to be with anyone. Si Jia wants to be with Daddy. I want to be with Daddy." Jiang Zhao suddenly understood why Yi Er was tugging at Si Jia like that. She even wanted to hug him when they were about to get into the car. It was because of Si Jia. She didn't pay much attention to him when he first appeared. All her attention was on Yun Hongwei and Si Jia. It turned out that someone had come to snatch her younger brother. Even if that person was her mother, she refused. A man's strength was always greater than a woman's. Jiang Zhao easily pulled Si Jia out of Zhou Li's arms and carried him. "Mommy, I hope that you can respect Yi Er's opinion. Now is not the time to fight over the children. Let's send Daddy to the hospital first." Yi Er looked up and saw Jiang Zhao carrying Si Jia in his arms. She was already drenched in sweat. She looked as pathetic as if she had just been fished out of the water. She looked at Jiang Zhao and smiled foolishly. It was as if she had been relieved of a heavy burden. As she smiled, she pouted and threw herself at him. She started sobbing. "Hubby," Jiang Zhao felt a lump in his throat. He hugged his brother-in-law with one hand and stroked his woman's back with the other. He couldn't put his finger on it. It was just the way she looked at him just now. He suddenly felt very blissful. That look in her eyes was as if she had finally come to the end of her suffering and had waited for her savior. He had always been her savior. It was pretty good. "Yun Yi. I'm sorry I'm late. Don't cry. Hurry up and get into the car. Si Jia will sit with me. I'll look for you at the hospital." "Okay, okay, okay." Si Jia knew how important he was to Yi Er. At this moment, he hugged Jiang Zhao's neck like a real child. He was afraid that his mother would drag him away again. Zhou Li blocked Jiang Zhao's path. "Jiang Zhao, go to the hospital. Give Si Jia to me." "Give him to you?" Jiang Zhao didn't call her mommy anymore. Actually, he couldn't bring himself to say it. Zhou Li looked too young. When she stood next to Yi Er, they looked like Yi Er's older sister. It was indeed different for a young woman to give birth to a child. If it was said that Zhou Li had a child as old as Si Jia, people would still believe it. But to have a child as old as Yi Er was really unbelievable. "It looks like Si Jia doesn't want to go with you." Jiang Zhao still felt that he should be more polite. Yi Er was so anxious just now, but he still called this woman a mommy. Although Yi Er was a little cunning, he knew that she valued family very much. For the family she cared about, she was willing to do anything. She wasn't like the spoiled miss from a wealthy family at all. Jiang Zhao, Si Jia is my child. It's only right for him to go with me. Now that Hongwei has Yi heir, our allocation is right. Although Zhou Li's makeup was a little smudged, because her skin was very good, she didn't look ugly. It just made her look a little funny when she tried to pretend to be calm. Looking at Zhou Li, who was looking at him with her chest puffed out and her head raised, the sound of the ambulance was getting further and further away. Thinking of the woman in the ambulance who was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan, Jiang Zhao exhaled, walked to the car, and put Si Jia in. Be good and wait for brother-in-law inside, okay? Si Jia nodded. Then hurry up, brother-in-law. Sister is still waiting for us in the hospital. Zhou Li wanted to open the car door, but Jiang Zhao slammed the door shut and quickly pressed the remote control to lock the car. Zhou Li couldn't open the door no matter how hard she tried. When she knocked on the door, she turned and glared at Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao, don't interfere with our family matters. Whose family matters? Jiang Zhao felt that these words were particularly harsh. What did Zhou Li mean by this? Was she treating him as an outsider? He and Yi heir were legally married. What did she mean by, don't interfere with our family matters? In the absence of Yi Zhou Li obviously had fewer scruples. Whose house is it? You're just an outsider. Oh. Jiang Zhao suppressed his anger. He didn't have time to waste here. His woman was still waiting for him in the hospital. Outsider? Now Yi heir, Si Jia, Dad, and I. The four of us are living together. That place is called home. I don't know who you're referring to by outsider. Also, Yi heir and I have a marriage certificate. If we're not considered family with a marriage certificate, then do we still count as family with a divorce certificate? Zhou Li was choked by Jiang Zhao's words. Her face instantly turned red. You. Just now, I respected you and called you Mom, because Yunyi is my wife. I want to take Si Jia away. The reason I'm interfering with this family's matters is also because Yunyi is my wife. If she wasn't my wife, I wouldn't have any objections if you wanted to kick up a fuss. But it's obvious that my wife isn't willing to give up the custody of her younger brother. So, I have to interfere until the end. Actually, if it wasn't for the custody of Si Jia, Yi heir wouldn't have come knocking on his door to bribe him. Yi heir didn't just want to protect this seedling now. She had always wanted to protect it. If she wanted to protect it, he would protect it for her. Zhou Li said loudly, Si Jia is also my son. I'm his mother. I have the right to fight for custody. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you abused your power. Even if I have to go to court, I will get the child back. Jiang Zhao smiled, but he sounded a little like a ruffian. Mom. Zhou Li felt very uncomfortable when Jiang Zhao called her that, so she didn't respond to him. Jiang Zhao still had a smile on his face. She didn't respond? He really didn't want to address her that way. He didn't want to acknowledge a mother who had scared his wife out of her wits even if Yi heir wanted to. He had always been clear about what he hated and what he disliked. Although he did not show it on his face, he would quickly categorize people in his heart. He did not care if they were elders or juniors. Yi heir treated Yun Hongwei well. Yun Hongwei's heart ached for Yi heir. So, he respected Yun Hongwei. Yi heir treated Si Jia well. Although Si Jia always bullied Yi heir verbally, in his heart, he was always on Yi heir's side. So, he treated Si Jia well. Zhou Li? This mother. Even Yi heir didn't want to give Si Jia to her. Then, he could only apologize. It was as if he respected the woman in front of him, but the words that came out of his mouth were completely emotionless. Mom, I won't abuse my position. I don't know if you've read up on the relevant legal knowledge when you asked for custody, but if Si Jia is still breastfeeding, which is less than 3 years old, as long as you want the child and your financial conditions allow it, the court will usually give you custody. But Si Jia is almost 10 years old now. He can decide for himself who he wants to be with. You can see that if you ask for his opinion, you won't be able to succeed. The person Si Jie relies on the most right now is Yi. Even if Dad doesn't seem to have the ability to raise the child, Yi can because I can. If you insist on filing a lawsuit, then prepare the materials. I, Jiang Zhao, will accompany you to any court you want. If you're worried that I'll abuse my power, then you can find the media and have the entire process broadcast live. You can do whatever you want. Everything will be done according to your rules. He raised his wrist and pulled up his sleeve. Looking at the hands on his watch, he frowned a little anxiously. Also, Mom, I don't have time to continue discussing the details with you. Although you don't seem to care about Dad's health, Yi cares a lot. I have to bring Si Jia over. Come over another day when you're free. Awesome novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 537. As soon as he turned around and pressed the lock, Zhou went to pull the car door open. Jiang Zhao turned around again and reached out his hand to press down. The car door was firmly closed again. He was tall and had a strong silhouette. If his eyes were cold, his aura would be especially oppressive. Zhou took a step back subconsciously. Jiang Zhao rubbed his brows. Yi was still waiting for him at the hospital, and there was an elder pestering him. When he opened his eyes, he did not look happy at all. There was only a threatening look in his eyes. Mum, I hope this is the last time you pull on my car door. I am a person who is impartial with my work. I don't want Yi to be caught in the middle and put her in a difficult position. You had also said that I am an outsider. You must know the situation when you are dealing with an outsider. Zhou took another step back. She knew that Yi was married to a man who could turn the tables in Haicheng. He was 29 years old and was the youngest deputy mayor in the history of Haicheng. But the way he spoke, and the way he looked at Feng Yu was as if he had the power to kill Feng Yu. How can a deputy mayor have this kind of arrogance? Maybe, not maybe. He was born with this kind of arrogance. If she had known things would turn out like this, she would have brought Si Jia with her. Seeing Zhou leave, Jiang Zhao nodded politely and smiled like a gentleman. Goodbye, Mom. Be careful on the road. Dong Xuabing opened the driver's door and got in. He fastened his seatbelt and started the car. Si Jia, don't forget to fasten your seatbelt. I know. You are so naggy. Jiang Zhao looked at the rearview mirror. Si Jia had fastened his seatbelt. The car was flying at high speed. Before they reached the hospital, Yi called to inform Jiang Zhao that she had been sent to the emergency room. She told Jiang Zhao which building she was in and where she was. Jiang Zhao listened to Yi's report over the phone. She was trying her best to suppress her sobbing. He was holding the steering wheel tightly. He wanted to lift the car up and drive it through the traffic. When Yi saw Jiang Zhao leading Si Jia over, she hurriedly ran over and held Si Jia's hand as she asked Jiang Zhao, "Where's my mother?" As she spoke, she looked back nervously. She went back. Don't worry. Yi was relieved. She held Si Jia's hand and walked to the bench outside the emergency room. Si Jia, will you go with Mommy? Yi kissed Si Jia's forehead as they sat down. Si Jia felt like he was no longer a man. He was clearly a man, but at this moment, he felt like crying. He quickly lowered his head and buried his face in Yi's chest. I want to be with big sister. Jiang Zhao looked at his brother-in-law who was rubbing his head against his wife's chest. He couldn't be bothered to be jealous. He sat beside Yi and asked softly, "How is he?" Yi stroked Si Jia's head and said, "Myocardial infarction." Luckily, it was discovered quickly. He doesn't have a history of this. His blood pressure used to be high. Today, he was too emotional. Jiang Zhao looked at Si Jia, who was on Yi's lap. He asked with concern, "Are you tired? Let me carry you." Si Jia got down from Yi's lap and sat on the other side. I don't want you to carry me. He knew his sister was tired. He didn't want her to be tired. Yi Er was a girl who had been through a lot. She was rare for her age. As long as someone was by her side to help her, she would be able to calm down quickly. She would be able to rationally tell herself what to do next. For example, she wouldn't make a fuss. When should she get someone to send her brother to school? How long should she wait here for her father to be hospitalized? What should she do? Everything was so clear that Jiang Zhao didn't know what to do. He could only listen to Yi Er's arrangements. He got someone to bring Si Jia to eat and then send him to school. Yi Er was in high spirits the whole time. She was like an indestructible robot who took care of Yun Hongwei. Yun Hongwei was lying on the bed with tubes inserted all over his body. She sat beside him. Whenever a nurse pushed the door open, she would stand up and ask, "What's wrong? Do you need anything else?" Jiang Zhao looked at the time. "Yun Yi, go and sleep. I'll keep watch." "No, go back and sleep. You still have to work tomorrow. Mondays are the most busy. Go back. I woke up really late this morning and slept until noon. I'm not tired at all." Yi Er bent over to adjust Yun Hongwei's blanket. "Then let's hire a nurse, okay? You won't be able to stand it." Yi Er shook her head. She didn't blame Jiang Zhao because she knew that Jiang Zhao didn't have much feelings for her family. At most, he was just doing his duty. It was already good enough that he could fulfill his duty. What else could he ask for? She didn't believe that suffering and feelings could be empathized with. That kind of deep familial love had to be cultivated for decades. Why should she ask others to empathize with her? If the person lying on the bed was Jiang Zhao's family, perhaps she would also say to hire a nurse. Others would only think that it was all about taking care of him. It might not be bad to hire a professional. Now she understood that she couldn't hire anyone. She could only stay here until the doctor said that the patient was completely out of danger and she could sleep in peace. Otherwise, it would be useless to hire 100 nurses. Zhao, go back. I'll stay here." Yi Er squeezed out a smile at Jiang Zhao. "Go back and have a good sleep. I don't have anything serious to do anyway, so I can pass the time here." Jiang Zhao raised his hand in the air. He really wanted to slap her but he stretched out his long arm and pulled the woman into his embrace. "When you encounter something like this, you're not allowed to squeeze out a smile in front of me, understand? Your husband has money, so much that he can't spend it. No matter how expensive the suit is, it can be used as a handkerchief for you, understand?" Her hair had been messy and hadn't been combed. She hated her hair. It had been permed and dyed for too long, so the quality of her hair was more or less damaged. Unlike the Ouyang Yan, her hair was straight and bright like satin. At this time, if that kind of hair fell into his arms, he would reach out and comb it to the end. The hair in front of her forehead was also a little messy, so messy that it stuck to her face. When her face was pressed against his suit, the coarse hair would pull and pull on her skin when she moved her shoulders. It was very annoying. She reached out and hung upside down from the man's waist, hugging his back from behind. Through the material of his suit, she could feel the strong muscles, broad and strong. Her face was on his shoulder, and her tears and snot were all smeared on it. As she sobbed, she pulled his sleeve and pulled his collar, and kept smearing it on him. She was born into a wealthy family and became a down-and-out daughter. But at this time, she had to use the most expensive handkerchief in her life. Jiang Zhao even cooperated and held his sleeve over, wiping her tears vigorously. He had just wiped the tears on one side of her face, but the other side was wet again. He simply unbuttoned his suit and pulled it up, wiping her entire face. He felt that she was a cute child, a child who was sometimes cute and sometimes bad-tempered. "Hubby. I'm a little sleepy, I want to sleep for a while." "Okay, you stay on the bed and sleep for a while. I'll watch over Dad. I'll sleep for a while. Wake me up, I'll take over." "Okay. You must wake me up." Okay. You're not allowed to not wake me up. I can't let you watch over him alone. Okay, are you going through menopause? I'm going through puberty. When Yi Er was about to fall asleep, she was always startled and suddenly opened her eyes. Jiang Zhao showed her the watch and said impatiently, "You've only slept for 5 minutes. Only slept for 6 minutes." Yi Er could only continue sleeping. She felt that she was a little crazy. A nurse pushed the door open. Jiang Zhao's leather shoes made a sound, so he took off his shoes and walked quickly in his socks. He put a finger to his mouth and said softly, "Nurse miss, please be gentle. My wife is very tired today, and it's not easy for her to fall asleep." The nurse nodded and asked about the patient's condition softly. She looked at the ECG record, registered the ward rounds, and put the record card in the transparent partition at the end of the bed. She turned and walked out of the door. Jiang Zhao took off his watch and adjusted the time on it. After adjusting it, he put it back on. At 3:00 in the morning, the nurse changed Yun Hongwei's diaper bag. Jiang Zhao stretched and pinched the space between his eyebrows. He looked at the fluid that had just been changed in the 4 bag inside. He wanted to take a nap. Yi Er turned over and was suddenly shocked. She immediately sat up as if she had sprained her waist. She saw Jiang Zhao suddenly turn to look at her and said in a daze, "Honey, I'm awake. Come and sleep for a while." Jiang Zhao raised his wrist to look at his watch again. He walked over and sat by the bed. He pressed Yi Er down and propped the surface in front of her. Then he began to help her tuck in the blanket. "What's wrong with you? You wake up every few minutes. Are you worried that I can't take good care of Dad? If you continue to be like this, I'll call the nurse to give you sleeping pills and sedatives. Do you believe me?" Yi Er cried too much during the day. Now that she had slept for a few hours, her eyes were especially swollen. Jiang Zhao looked at her and frowned. He reached out and rubbed her temples. Yi Er sighed and struggled. I, sigh. Why don't you sleep first? I'll come and sleep later." Jiang Zhao's face darkened. "I'm not sleepy now. I'll go to work after I wake up." "Go to sleep. I'll let you sleep for an hour. It's only 10:00 now. I still have a long time to sleep. Hurry up and get some sleep." "I said I'll call you, so I'll call you." Yi Er shrunk her neck and said softly, "Then I'll go to sleep." Hearing the woman's breathing become more and more regular, Jiang Zhao took out his phone to read the news to pass the time. However, he accidentally opened the photo album. There were a few photos in this phone. He felt that he was quite old-fashioned. He only used the most basic functions of his phone, such as sending and receiving emails, Weibo, and making calls. He sent few messages and received many. He didn't know how to use the camera function. There was a professional camera at home. What could his phone take? There were a few side profiles in the photo album, and only he could see them. The people around him didn't have the habit of looking at other people's photos. The house he lived in had other requirements. The bedroom, balcony, and study space were all okay. Because he spent a lot of time in these places, he didn't like to be too oppressed. He woke up early that day and wanted to sit on the balcony. However, she was already watering the plants with a watering can. He lay on the rocking chair by the floor-to-ceiling window and read the news on his phone leisurely. However, she just had to nag and annoy him to death. "Let me tell you. You have to water early. The sun will be too hot later. If you water them, the roots of the plants will be burned to death." He snorted. "Nonsense. When there's a thunderstorm in the summer, all the plants in the city will be burned to death." Beauty novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 538. When he looked up, she was pouting unhappily, probably because he didn't go along with her words. Girls are so vain. He accidentally exited the news and accidentally touched the camera icon. He knew that the camera function on his phone had a sound, so he had to fiddle with the settings for a while before he could get rid of the sound. He was holding the phone from her side profile. In her eyes, he was reading the news on his phone as usual. He looked at the person on the phone. Her little mouth was pouting like a chicken's butt. He couldn't help but want to laugh. Was she really angry? Have you been watering the plants these few days? Ah, of course. It's not good to let the plants die, right? I didn't expect you to be so virtuous. Of course. She smiled proudly, and the corners of her lips curled up. The sunlight was soft and orange, shining from the front of her. Her eyelashes were brushed thin and fine by the light, and the light gathered in her eyes, squeezing the smile out of her eyes and flowing into every cell in her body. The color of her face was pink and extremely beautiful. At this moment, he realized that the color of the phone was really good. Otherwise, how could it be possible to put a person in the phone and look so good? He gently touched the camera icon and froze the image. He felt like he was a photographer, capturing a beautiful morning. Every time she called, he would take a few glances at her phone. He put the phone away and looked at the woman lying on the bed. His fingers were slender and slightly cold. He caressed her eyelids and slowly stroked to the ends of her eyes. He lowered his head and pressed his lips on it. He softly said, He smiled. You have to sleep well. My wife's eyes are very beautiful. You don't look like them when you cry so badly. After saying that, he sighed softly. In the morning, there was a faint white light flashing through the gaps in the curtains. She took out her phone to look at the time, adjusted the time on her watch, and wound it up. She sat by Yun Hongwei's bed. Her waist was a little stiff, and she twisted left and right. When she heard the sound of someone behind her, she quickly lay on Yun Hongwei's bed and closed her eyes. Yi Er sat up and looked around. When she saw the light coming in through the gaps in the curtains, she pulled at her hair anxiously. When she turned her head, she saw Jiang Zhao sleeping by her father's bedside. He was so scared that his 3 souls and 7 spirits flew away. She jumped off the bed and ran over. There was not much fluid left in the 4 bag. She saw that Jiang Zhao was sleeping soundly. If she woke up a little later, she would be in trouble. She was so angry that she stamped her feet and rudely woke Jiang Zhao up. She looked unhappy. It's 6:00. Go to bed and sleep for a while. I'll call you for breakfast at 7. Oh, you're awake. Jiang Zhao stood up. His neck hurt a little. He turned his head and yawned. I told you to wake me up. If you want to sleep, at least wake me up. Look, Dad's 4 drip is almost empty. If he doesn't wake up now, his blood will flow backwards, Yi Er grumbled. Jiang Zhao rubbed his face, bent over, and looked into Yi Er's eyes. I'm sorry. I'm going to sleep. Ask the nurse to change the 4 bag. He was too tired. As soon as he touched the bed, he fell asleep. His breathing was heavy and even. Yi Er was so angry that she wanted to find someone to knock on the man's head and tell him not to stay here. He wanted to stay here. He didn't even stay here to watch the night. If he had known, he would have let the nurse take care of him. When Jiang Zhao left, Yi Er didn't give him a good look. Jiang Zhao didn't care anyway. When he told her later, she would cry and feel guilty. She had always been like this. As long as he helped her, she would try her best to please him and be grateful. Even in bed, she would work harder than usual. She wanted to build a relationship, but she didn't want others to sympathize with her. That kind of feeling was very awkward. Now that she thought about it, it was really annoying. She drove home, took a shower, and changed into the clothes with snot before going to work. Lunchtime. In a high-end Western restaurant, a rich woman sat elegantly. Opposite her was a man in his 40s. He was dressed in a suit and leather shoes and looked like a gentleman. He slowly cut the steak. Jolie cut the steak into small pieces. She cut the steak again and again until it was minced meat. The man opposite her frowned. If it's not to your liking, then change it. Just don't want it. Zhou slammed the knife and fork on the table. Her tone was stubborn and didn't match her age. Yuan Shicheng, are you done? So what if I give Shao Jie to Yun Hongwei? Yuan Shicheng smiled. His tone was a little gloomy. How can that be? Yun Hongwei and I are brothers. Brothers are like brothers. He already has a daughter. It's only right for him to give me a son. Zhou looked at Yuan Shicheng and said in a low voice, Hongwei's health isn't good now. Shao Jie is very important to him. When the time comes, we can just have another child. At this point, the corner of Yuan Shicheng's mouth suddenly twitched, and the expression on his face began to change strangely. The fork held the steak firmly, and the knife was ruthless, cutting into the plate. Only when the sharp sound of the steel knife cutting into the porcelain plate did Yuan Shicheng let go of the knife and fork. The knife and fork fell on the edge of the plate with a ding ding dang 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 sound. The image of the utensils of the upper class completely disappeared. He picked up the red wine and took a sip. He grabbed the napkin and wiped the corner of his mouth. You'd better not care about my decision. You have to fight for Shao Jie's custody. Zhou swallowed her saliva. She was a little frightened. Yuan Shicheng, don't be so stubborn. Yi Er is unhappy now. She has suffered for so long. You didn't let me care about her, and I didn't care. What else do you want? Now she wants Si Jie. I can ignore Hongwei, but I can't ignore Yi Er's feelings, right? Yuan Shicheng snorted. Why do you care about her? If it weren't for this money-losing girl, Shao Jie would be my son now. You have so much free time all day. How did you give birth to such a jinx? Zhou Li's expression froze. She said angrily, how can you say that about Yi Er? How is she a jinx? If you hate Hongwei, then so be it. Don't drag Yi Er into this. She's not my daughter. Why should I care? If you don't want me to say bad things about her in the future, then hurry up and think of a way to get Shao Jie's custody. Jiang Zhao won't agree to it. If you are so capable, why don't you ask Jiang Zhao for it? Anyway, if you ask me to ask Jiang Zhao for Shao Jie, I will never do it again. I don't even dare to look into his eyes. Zhou Li is not like the mother of a 19-year-old girl. Maybe she is spoiled by men, and her temper is like a little woman. Yuan Shicheng replied. Who does Jiang Zhao think he is? If Jiang Zhao is only a deputy mayor from a poor family, then he is nothing. Zhou Li said angrily. But does the Yuan family dare to go against the Jiang family from the eastern region? This was still too far-fetched. What about the Qin family? Don't you know how much Qin Rongfang cherishes his grandson? If you are so capable, then you can go and provoke Jiang Zhao. Even if Qin Rongfang doesn't provoke him, do you dare to provoke Jiang Liqing from the southern region? Just that group of comrades in arms who are commanders are going to flatten the Yuan family. Zhou Li. Yuan Shicheng was so angry that he clenched his fists on the table tightly. You traitorous woman. Zhou Li's expression changed. What did you say? Forget it. Yuan Shicheng calmed himself down. My tone is too harsh. Isn't Yun Hongwei pretending to be dead in the hospital? He knows how to use the trick of injuring himself to gain sympathy. Don't you know how to use the trick of injuring yourself to gain sympathy? You know Yun Yi is feeling sorry for Yun Hongwei now. Don't you know how to act more pitiful than Yun Hongwei? Look at the situation now. Whoever Yun Yi helps, Jiang Zhao will help. Speaking up to this point, Yuan Shicheng spat, foxy embryo. Zhou Li stood up with a whoosh. As she bent her legs, the stool behind her was pushed away by her straightened legs. Yuan Shicheng, you better watch your mouth. If you continue to talk about Yi Er like this, whoever has the right to take custody of Yi Er can do so. Ask Zhou Yan to do it. I don't care anymore. Yuan Shicheng quickly stood up and softened his tone. Okay. Shaoli, sit down. I've been very angry because of this recently. It's not easy for me, right? Don't be angry. I won't talk about it anymore. I won't say anything bad about your daughter, okay? Zhou Li sat down reluctantly and cut her steak in frustration. Jiang Zhao called Yi Er during the day. Every time he asked if her father's condition was getting better, Yi Er would always say that he was getting better. At 5:00, Jiang Zhao called Yi Er and told him that he had an important social event in the evening and would go to the hospital after dinner. Yi Er mumbled, okay. Didn't Ouyang Yan ask him out for dinner? Yi Er asked someone to get some food from the cafeteria. Before he started eating, someone knocked on the door. Who is it? Yi Er put down his chopsticks, stood up, and went to open the door. When he opened the door, he was stunned for a moment. Unwu. Unwu was carrying a basket of fruits. He was still the same as before, a handsome young man who was untainted by dust. He did not have the pleasant expression he had when meeting friends, only the regret of visiting a patient. Yes. I heard from Grandpa last night that Uncle Yun was hospitalized, so I came over to take a look. Grandpa has more things to do than I do and is very busy, so he asked me to send his regards to Uncle Yun. Yi Er stood aside and let Unwu in. My father is fine too. Grandpa and parents-in-law came over to see him today. The doctor said that his condition is better, so I'll have to trouble you to make this trip. Unwu walked into the ward and placed the fruit basket on Yi Er's dining table. A box of fast food was placed there. He frowned slightly but did not say anything displeased. You're really like a sister-in-law now that you're married. You speak so formally and politely. Did you learn this from Brother Zhao? No, I didn't. Yi Er did not pay much attention to her image. She pulled out a stool and prepared to continue eating. Her father had not woken up yet, so she kept her voice very low. I really feel bad. The doctor is fine, but I still disturbed so many people. I just came over to express my condolences. You're the one who took the situation too seriously. Yi Er buried her head in eating. She was really a little hungry. If her father was not sick, she would have gone out to eat with Jiang Zhao today. She wanted to see if Ouyang Yan had a bottom line. She felt stifled in her heart and waited stiffly. Later, she was a little discouraged. There should be a limit to her wishful thinking. She was still full after eating. Yunwa's legs were leaning against Yi Er's dining table. He was almost sitting down. He lowered his head and looked at her wolfing down the food. She was probably starving. Her hair was in a mess and was tied up with a rubber band at the back of her head. Looking at her, it did not look sloppy at all. Eat slower. I'll eat faster. I'll chat with you after I'm done. The corners of Nu's mouth couldn't help but pull up into a soft smile. He was a person who knew how to endure. He could control his emotions well at any time, but her words could always make his heart bloom. When he closed his eyes, he could hear the sound of petals slowly opening in his heart. Welfare, Hongcha 866. Chapter 539. After Yi Er finished eating, she asked the nurse to change the 4-bag. After making sure that her father was fine, she pulled a stool for Unwu to sit by the window. Have a seat. I don't sit. I like to stand. Don't you remember that I always liked to stand when I was painting? What was so good about sitting? She would always notice when he looked up at her while sitting. If she was sitting and he was standing, he could keep his head down, but she wouldn't keep looking up. Unwu, do you remember when I first met you? You were painting on Wudong Street. To think that I thought you were a poor student. I don't have any money. I'm often penniless. Huh, yes. You always swiped your card. Look at what you're saying. You thought I was a poor student, and I was too lazy to explain. See? How could you bear to cheat an ignorant girl of her money? Yi Er sat on the stool and rested her hands on the windowsill. Unwoo, you like painting so much? Your family is so well-to-do, but you actually went there to paint. This is something I never expected. Some people are very happy. They do whatever they like. They treat their hobby as a hobby and treat their hobby as a career. They do whatever they want. Unwoo said, yes. But after he said that, he sighed in his heart. Who said that he treated his hobby as a hobby? Who said that he could treat his hobby as a career? Who said that he could do whatever he wanted? It was just that he met her by chance at that time. She said that she would come to collect the painting the next day. She said that she would introduce a business to him another day. She even said that she would look for him to paint a portrait next time. But she always gave him a deadline and made him stand there and wait. But he was also willing to wait because of one sentence from her. Sometimes, he didn't see her for a month. Sometimes, he would see her 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes, he thought that he really liked painting. It wasn't until she disappeared that he realized that he really liked her. She asked him if he had ever been in a predicament where he had no way out. He said no. No matter if it was him or someone else, there was a path where there were feet. He remembered how certain and confident he was at that time. But now, he knew that everything would eventually turn out to be nonsense. Because she always left him with no way out, he could only stand in the same place and wait for disappointment every day. He wanted to visit her, but the only way was to get someone to check on Jiang Zhao's schedule and make sure he had a business meeting to attend. He racked his brain to come up with a solution that wouldn't hurt his grandfather, the Qin family, and the Shi family. He didn't know how long he would be able to hold on. He thought that if he liked someone, then he liked her. As long as she was happy, then he would be happy. That was how it was written in the books. But those books were not his life. When did I? I'm just speaking the truth, okay? For the first time, Unwoo was so angry at Yi Er that he was speechless. She actually despised him for being young? She actually despised him for not being mature enough? Did she have to be as old as Jiang Zhao to be mature? You already said it's mental age. Am I very childish? No. Yi Er shook her head very directly. Do you mean that I'm always jumping around like a little kid? No. Yi Er continued to shake her head. Do you mean that I'm like those kids who don't have enough fun and flirt with girls every day? No. Yi Er shook her head halfway and felt that she shouldn't answer this question. I don't know. I'll have to ask and to find out. Unwoo really couldn't continue. If he continued, he would be turned into an idiot by this idiot. Yi Er, when you were in school, did a lot of boys like you? A few. But as they liked me, they became brothers with me. Why? Because I'm not a woman. In the end, they all fell in love with my friends. Haha. I'm the kind of person who often gets cheated on. Yi Er felt that she had only learned to be a little softer in the past 2 years. She used to be a real tomboy. No wonder no man liked her. Are your friends cuter than you? Of course not. They're just a little more sinister than me. I'm too shameless. I feel that it's immoral to steal other people's suitors. Yi Er touched her face and sighed. Yin Yi, you're so thin-skinned. It's as thin as a garlic film. One touch and it breaks. Unwoo chuckled. You're really thin-skinned. You make it sound like it's the first time I've met you. When Jiang Zhao was eating with Zhuang Yichen, as long as Zhuang Yichen spoke, he would bury his head in eating. When Zhuang Yichen finished, he would wipe his mouth with a napkin and continue talking. Jiang Zhao didn't interfere with Chen Tong's matter on the surface. Zhuang Yichen had thrown out the photos to provoke Chen Tong into exposing Zhuang Yifeng and his gang. However, Zhuang Yifeng probably had something on Chen Tong, so Chen Tong didn't say a word. After Jiang Zhao finished his meal, he drank a mouthful of water and wiped the corners of his mouth with a napkin. He leaned back and said, "Don't be anxious about Zhuang Yifeng's matter. You must wait until the matter of the shoreline plates is blown up before you take action. Now that you've given a few houses along the shoreline to your subordinates and they've become the owners, you can do whatever you want. The previous murder case was settled, but after that, it'll depend on whether your subordinates are willing to stop. When the time comes, I'll prepare the political media platform and the government for you. After all, Zhuang Yifeng has someone above him. The branch media won't dare to interfere with the news. If the big political media report this matter first, Zhuang Yifeng will be waiting for the word death. But you must blow this matter up, the bigger the better. Make it so big that no one can cover it up. Zhuang Yichen took out a cigarette box and took out a cigarette. He held it in his hand and threw it. Jiang Zhao raised his hand and caught it steadily. He held it in his mouth and took out a high-end matchbox on the table. He took out a match and lit the cigarette. Zhuang Yichen took out another cigarette and held it in his mouth. He took out a lighter and lit the cigarette with a ding. He took a deep breath and exhaled the smoke. He narrowed his eyes. Brother Zhao, I've trusted you to make arrangements for Zhuang Yifeng's matter, but don't you find it tiring to keep waiting? You know that Zhuang Jingren was ruthless to the Yun family. I can tell that you really want to help Yun Hongwei get acquitted. Jiang Zhao exhaled the smoke from his mouth. He watched the smoke in front of him fade. He knew that Zhuang Yichen only wanted to get rid of Zhuang Yifeng as soon as possible. How could Zhuang Yichen be so kind as to think about his father-in-law's matter? He furrowed his brows and said in a low voice, Yichen, everything has to be prioritized. Right now, the threads are in a mess. There are some hidden reefs that I haven't even noticed. You can tell that Chintong is clearly a puppet in front. If you start with Chintong and kill Zhuang Yifeng now, our relationship will be exposed. So I'm telling you to handle it separately. Chintong will just think that you want to ask for benefits from him. If something happens to Zhuang Yifeng's plate along the coastline, if the political media reports it, Chintong will definitely be in the same boat as you. Zhuang Yifeng will never think that you have me behind you. He will only think that Chintong betrayed him. And once Zhuang Yifeng is done for, Chintong will have a broken leg. It will be much easier to deal with him. Zhuang Yichen smiled helplessly and shook his head gently. When he smiled, he gave off a feeling of elegance. Brother Zhao, now that you've been picked up by your father-in-law, there's no need to rush at all. You can do it slowly. I'm sitting on the stove every day. You can't think about me at all. We'll both win this matter. Jiang Zhao raised his handsome chin slightly. His confidence was evident in his words. It's just that we can't be too hasty. If we mess up, we don't know what the consequences will be. Let's just follow the plan. Jiang Zhao left first. Zhuang Yichen went to Peerless Beauty. As soon as he entered Zhao Jun, Xiaoya stood up from the sofa. She didn't say anything and just stared at him with resentment. Zhuang Yichen smiled and walked over slowly. Miss Qiu, what can I do for you? Beauty Novel, Songshu 566. Chapter 540. Zhuang Yichen, what's the meaning of this? Why are you looking for me? Zhuang Yichen didn't answer her question. When he asked, he had a cold smile on his face. He sat on the sofa, crossed his long legs, and shook them gently. He grabbed a crystal cup and looked at it slowly. He looked at the broken colors inside and listened to the woman's accusation. Ian didn't do anything to you at all. What do you mean by doing this? Me? What did I do? Zhuang Yichen didn't seem to be in a bad mood, but his voice was a little deep. What do you want to know by coming here? Why did you let him get into a car accident? I used to think that you were cold-blooded, but I didn't expect you to be such a beast. The lights in Zhao Jun weren't very bright at this time. There were some hidden lights in the private room of an entertainment club. When the crystal cup in her hand was thrown out, it was like a shooting star suddenly streaking across the night sky. The shooting star brushed past the woman's ear. Xiaoya thought that the expensive cup would directly hit her head. She was so scared that she didn't dare to move. It wasn't that she was timid, but it was because even though Zhuang Yichen was too cold and put his own interests first, he had never touched her. The so-called violence was at most when they were in bed for a long time. Other than that, he had never touched her. On the wall behind her was a crystal cup. The tragic sacrifice was a battlefield. After the fierce collision, Xiaoye suddenly trembled. The man stood up with a hua sound and walked towards her. Xiaoye took 2 steps back, but the man still forced his way over. Little demon Xiao, tell me. What evidence do you have to prove that I was the one who caused this car accident? The man only used his imposing manner to approach her. He didn't use any rough moves, but it made Xiaoye shrink back. Guessing. Oh, guessing? Guessing on what basis? Why is Kang Ian worthy of me killing him? Because of you? Because you are my bed partner? Because of me? Or do you think that I need to care about your past with him? You? Xiaoye nibbled on her lips. She had always dressed in bold, novel, sexy, and trendy clothes. There was nothing she didn't dare to wear. As long as she felt it was not bad, she would try it on. She liked to package herself in a very gorgeous and enchanting way. She liked to attract everyone's attention. Her short hair was black and glossy, and her tight waist was wrapped around by the tight skirt. The anger and fear in her eyes had yet to dissipate when the man pinched her waist. What about you? Qiu Xiaoyao, you should know your place. Who are you to me? Would I kill Kang Ian for you? You think too highly of yourself. Then why are you still pestering me when we already agreed to break up? Xiaoye was a straightforward person. Perhaps she had never been so straightforward with Zhuang Yichen before. She had always only called him boss. She felt that he was her boss. He supported her without caring about the cost. All she could do was sleep with him. From the bed to the floor, to the bathroom, to the balcony, everything was her work. At this moment, her straightforwardness made Zhuang Yichen chuckle. Others said that Zhuang Yichen's smile was mesmerizing, but Xiaoye felt that she was immune to it. It was just that he looked better when he didn't smile. Anyway, she often saw him smile. Whether it was mockery, teasing, playing, or pranking when he kicked her off the bed, he always smiled. However, she also knew that when he smiled, the words that came out of his mouth wouldn't be pleasant, just like now. Break up? So what? He was still forcing her to retreat. She was like a little chick that couldn't fly in his hands. As long as this eagle was interested in catching her, she wouldn't be able to escape. He lowered his head and bit her earlobe. He was still chuckling softly. Have you forgotten what I told you before? I'm a clean freak. If I suddenly change the woman I sleep with, I always feel that it's not clean. So, when I need it, I'll choose a more convenient one. How about this reason? Xiaoye bent her knees, but the man's legs clamped tightly. Let go. I already said that I want to be with Kang Ian. I'm already with him. I'm not clean either. Don't touch me in the future. Is that so? The man asked softly. There was a luxurious beauty leaning on the side of the huge rear projection TV. Something similar to a sofa was always their favorite place for foreplay. It was thick, soft, and cramped. They wanted to enjoy it but couldn't roll around freely. When they couldn't control their feelings, they wanted to go elsewhere. However, they felt that this forced them to be closer to each other. They could only hug and rely on each other. The sound of fabric being torn suddenly rang out. Do you think I don't know? You're an idiot who thinks too highly of yourself. What did Kang Ian promise you? Did he say that he loves you? After you broke up with me, did you sleep with him? Did he touch you? Little demon Xiao, didn't I say that you're a demon? Take out your demon skills and seduce Kang Ian. Back then, you were following him, but he still dumped you and ran away. He didn't show up for a few years. He's not even a rich young master yet. What about you? You're a woman who relied on sleeping with men in exchange for your limitless glory today. Do you dare to get close to him? Do you dare to tell him that you were with me? Eating, chatting, and watching movies. Do you think we're together? What bullsh asterisk t luo g? Ah. Xiaoya was forced into a corner to be invaded. Little demon Xiao, I really don't understand. Did you know that you'd be treated like this the moment you came looking for me? Is that why you always dress so sexily in front of me? Zhuang Yichen had always known that between him and Xiaoya, one was heartless and the other was unfaithful. He was good at scheming, while she was practical and snobbish. He had never felt like this before. No matter how much he tried to use tricks to make her release her desires, he couldn't find the feeling he had before. The feeling of being free and unrestrained. The more he used, the more he added fuel to the fire. He could only see her talking nonsense about life and death with another man. Although the end result was the same and he was released, he still felt unhappy. He got down from Xiaoya's body and took some wet wipes to clean himself. Xiaoya tugged at her torn skirt and looked at the man who had already straightened his pants. After he tidied his clothes, he really looked like a beast in human clothing. Zhuang Yichen took a glass of wine and walked to where Xiaoya was lying. He sat down and slowly took a sip. Yes, there's a need to explain to you. Kang Yin's car accident was because he was drunk driving. He changed lanes and drove in the opposite direction. Don't tell me you think that I made him drink and drugged him to drive like that? Xiaoya was so angry that she was trembling. Why didn't he explain earlier? Now that he had completely devoured her, he wanted to explain. Find me a set of clothes. Why should I? Zhuang Yichen raised his eyebrows. Because we broke up. You. Just now I had sex with you. Zhuang Yichen lifted the torn fabric on the woman's chest again. The peach blossoms were so tender and beautiful. It was so tempting. TSK, he clicked his tongue. Zhao Jun is my private room. The women who come in are either here to entertain my friends or to entertain me. Don't tell me you think that this cafe is just for us to chat. You're not a man. My sexual orientation is very normal. Why shouldn't I have sex with the women who come to entertain me? Am I as stupid as you? F***ck. Ha, you know how to curse. I like it. F***ck. You mean you want to do it again? Get lost. Xiaoya tidied her hair and sat up. She put on her high heels and was about to leave. Why? Are you going out like this? If this is the only way out, then let's go out like this. Zhuang Yichen continued to drink his beer. Oh, there are a lot of customers now. You have to be careful of perverts. Drunk men will not be able to control themselves when they see attractive women. What if they get F***ked? It doesn't matter. The men who can come here are either rich or respectable. Getting a rich man to buy me some clothes is a good deal. Anyway, I'm a woman who relies on sleeping with men to have a halo. It doesn't matter who I sleep with. It was not that she was not upset. This man who had slept with her for almost 4 years had always been so cold-blooded. Just as her hand reached for the doorknob, she was scooped up by the man. Her skirt was pushed up and her long legs were spread apart. Just like that, she was lifted up and placed on the man's strong waist as he carried her to the indoor elevator. She punched him. Let go of me. The elevator door opened. Zhuang Yichen walked in and rubbed her butt. Didn't you say that it doesn't matter who I sleep with? It doesn't matter who I sleep with. Tonight, if you sleep with me, I'll buy you clothes, haha. Damn you. Zhuang Yichen. You shameless D***MN man. Little demon Xiao, after we broke up, your personality has become more and more likable. After we sleep together tonight, let's break up again and continue tomorrow. After Jiang Zhao and Zhuang Yichen parted ways, he drove to the hospital. He knew that the food in the hospital was not that good. Yi Er was afraid that she would be too tired to eat alone, so he specially packed some nutritious ginseng soup and cooked some of her favorite dishes. In the end, when he pushed the door open and entered, he saw a harmonious scene. The way the two of them were chatting was romantic and heartwarming. In the past, when he bumped into her and Min Zikai in the corridor, he could still say that it had nothing to do with him. Now, he did not even have to think about it. He just went over. When he placed the packed food on the table, Yi Er had already stood up. She was a little flustered, but when she saw that Jiang Zhao did not look as angry as he did yesterday, she relaxed a little. Jiang Zhao pulled a chair and sat down. "Wifey, come here. Let's eat together." "Ah." Yi Er wanted to say that she had already eaten. "Hurry up. I haven't eaten yet. Let's eat together." Jiang Zhao thought to himself, "What did I eat? I'm going to explode." Seeing Unwu standing there hesitantly, he felt excited. "Wifey, hurry up." As expected, Yi Er could not stand Jiang Zhao's sweet advances. She endured her full stomach and was about to sit down. Yunwa's straight brows were slightly arched. She bit her lip and asked Yi Er, "Didn't you just eat?" Before she could finish, Yi Er interrupted, "I didn't have an appetite just now. Now that I'm hungry, I'll eat some more." Unwu understood the hope in Yi Er's eyes. "Then Brother Zhao, sister-in-law, please enjoy your meal. I'll go back first." "Okay." Jiang Zhao immediately agreed before Yi Er could persuade him to stay. Jiang Zhao felt that the problem between him and Yi Er might be a problem of age. Girls her age were all obsessed with Korean and Japanese culture and liked those androgynous celebrities. It would be best if those male celebrities appeared in magazines and taught them how to change their single eyelids into double eyelids so that they would look good in photos. Welfare, Hongcha 866. Chapter 541. That was what they liked. He couldn't change her all of a sudden. He was never afraid of time. He was only afraid that he wouldn't be able to achieve his goal. Perhaps he should go and find a few Korean soap operas that were just right for him to watch and analyze the thoughts of little girls from the root. Is it good? Yes. Is it good? Yes. Then eat more. Okay. Yi Er felt that she was completely a pig. Whatever her master put in her bowl, she would eat. In the end, she was so full that she couldn't move. Jiang Zhao didn't sleep at all last night and had a lot of meetings in the day. He was a little sleepy and wanted to sleep here for a while. But then Fian called. "Brother, didn't you say that there would be a vote today? I've been waiting for you all day but you didn't call. Are you off work? I told you that day that the vote is meaningless. That's it. Just do as I say." Qin Fian was very happy and said that he must go and see Yun Hongwei. Jiang Zhao rejected him. "Please don't come over and cause trouble. Wait until father-in-law wakes up, then come over." Qin Rongfang had visited Yun Hongwei in the hospital during the day. At that time, it was fine. Later, he found out from Qin Fian that the two of them had slept in the hospital last night. He immediately got angry and rushed to the hospital. "Get a better nurse. If I lie there one day, you are not allowed to watch over me like that. Jiang Zhao has to work during the day and Yi Er has to take care of her body. If her body isn't good, what will she do when she gets pregnant? Can you do better than a professional nurse? If your body collapses, you won't be able to do your job well." Yi Er didn't want to comply. Qin Rongfang could see that. He also knew that he was probably too anxious just now, so he changed to a more amiable tone. "Yi Er, think about it. If you don't want to go back, Zhao Zhao can only stay here with you. How can he go back alone? What will others say about him? Don't think that he is just a deputy mayor. He has a lot of things to do. As a wife, you should think more. We've talked to everyone in Hongwei's hospital. It won't be worse than you staying here. You should take good care of yourself now. After a while, you can give birth to twins for our family. At that time, one of them will be surnamed Jiang, and the other will be surnamed Qin. Hongwei will be happy to see that. If you collapse from exhaustion, when can I hold my great-grandson? Yi-er also felt that this was right. If this matter was spread out, people might even say that the mayor's father-in-law was in a coma because of heart problems, and he did not even visit him. There might be rumors going around. Although Grandpa's words sounded selfish, saying that all great-grandchildren should have a surname of Chin, he was indeed concerned about them. It wouldn't make sense if he didn't comply. Grandpa had said that if they didn't go back, he would stay here and wait. Jiang Zhao returned home and didn't even want to take a shower. He just lay on the bed. Yi-er knew he couldn't sleep well and had to take a shower later. She went to fill the bathtub with water for him. When she came out of the bathroom, Jiang Zhao's phone kept ringing. She saw him picking up his phone impatiently. He must be really tired. It's not easy for a man to work. Hello, Yun Yun. Yi-er was stunned. Hello, no. It's too late, and I'm tired. Okay. Let's finish our work for the next few days. Okay, I know. I will remember. Okay. Good night. Yi-er saw Jiang Zhao answering the call with his eyes closed and then throwing his phone away. She was pissed again. That tone of his was really annoying. It was as if he had to listen to that woman. She rushed over to Jiang Zhao and pulled him. Get up. You're so dirty. Go take a shower. Honey, I don't want to take a shower today. I want to sleep. Shower. You owe me tonight. I'll do it 3 times tomorrow night, okay? You won't starve. Jiang Zhao still had his eyes closed. He frowned and just wanted to sleep. Yi-er paused. Owe me tonight? Did he mean that she wanted him to take a shower because she wanted to do something? Or was it because he was so tired today because he did something outside? So he didn't have to pay for his food today? No. She mustn't think too much. Seeing is believing. Hearing is false. What's more, she imagined it. She mustn't make wild guesses. But she was still worried. While Jiang Zhao was sleeping soundly, she started to unbuckle his belt. Jiang Zhao felt that his wife was quite considerate. She even knew to unbuckle his belt for him so that he could sleep more comfortably. Good wife. But there was something wrong with his good wife. He felt that his belt was unbuckled, but his pants didn't go down. His panties were unbuckled. He closed his eyes but didn't want to open them. He kept thinking. What was he doing? A new trick? No way, honey, I already said that I'm very tired today. I didn't sleep last night, and today, in order to earn some money, I've been an old cow all day. You should at least let an old cow rest. Although I'm not old, and I'm a strong cow, and it's okay to do it once, we still have to ensure the quality, right? We can't just close our eyes and go in and out, right? Yi-er was checking. She was furious. It wasn't the panties from yesterday. She knew that he went home to take a shower and change his clothes. The panties must have been changed too. Then, if he did it with the Ouyang Yan outside, did the panties change? Was the Ouyang Yan's panties the same as the one at home? The panties were quite clean. She checked the key parts from top to bottom, inside and out. It was quite clean. But if it was an affair, how could she tell? Jiang Zhao felt that although this didn't seem like a new trick, why did the other party suddenly have no reaction? What was going on? What happened in between? He lay on the bed and opened his eyes. He saw the woman sitting cross-legged beside him. Her face was confused and ignorant. She was like a child who was curious about everything. She looked at his key parts purely. Cough. Pure. What? She actually dared to look at him so purely. This was too much. Where could he put his face? She actually dared to look at him with such pure eyes. Was she asking for a beating? Yun Yi. What do you want to do? The man sat up angrily. When he sat up, he felt a bit uncomfortable. Why was he uncomfortable? Because the panties were a bit small. It wasn't just a bit small. The position wasn't right. Although they were husband and wife, when he thought of her pure and harmless eyes, he felt that the atmosphere was not right. What did she mean? She looked at him like that and didn't have any impulse? He was her husband. They slept together every night. She stripped him. She was naked, but she didn't have any impulse? Shouldn't there be some kind of lust, some kind of burning reaction? Shouldn't she be blushing and having an embarrassed expression like before? She should be a bit shy and swallow her saliva a bit, right? How infuriating. Too much of a failure. Too much of a failure. No, she wasn't like this in the past. She was very strange today. Very strange. Was it related to Xiunwu? So she started to like those pure-looking little boys? She dared. If she dared, he would kill Xiunwu. He didn't care about the bullshit friendship of the previous generation. Yi Er stared blankly. Me? She stretched out a finger and pointed at her nose. Her face was as if she had just woken up from a dream. Of course it's you. What do you mean? What do you want to do? Jiang Zhao straightened his face and shifted his butt. It was uncomfortable. Taking off his pants was too immoral. He wanted to take it off but didn't want to take it off completely. What was the meaning of taking it off halfway? I don't want to do anything. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao's angry face and was a little scared. Did he hate it when she investigated him? She accidentally glanced at the part of his underwear that couldn't be covered by his waist and swallowed even more. I don't want to do anything. Really don't want to do anything. Jiang Zhao vomited a big mouthful of blood in his heart. His internal organs were bleeding profusely. He was so angry that he almost died. She really didn't want to do anything? *CK, he was a handsome man with a model's body, and she actually didn't want to do anything with him. She actually dared to not want to do anything. No. She had to do something. You. Yi Er couldn't tell what the man in front of her wanted to do at that moment, but there was a hint of viciousness in his eyes. There was a hint of wretchedness in his seriousness and a hint of darkness in his brilliance that made her heart tighten. Damn, was this the legendary hooligan? Wifey, you really don't want to do anything? I don't want to. Really? Yi Er looked at the man's actions and gritted her teeth. She threw caution to the wind and pulled at her collar. No. Hubby, I really want to do something. I really want to do it. Yi Er thought that since she was the one who wanted to do it today, shouldn't she be like him and be a little more aggressive? Hence, Yi Er worked hard to escape the disaster. In the morning, Jiang Zhao woke up. It was good. Although he was tired last night, he slept until dawn. The quality of his sleep was not bad. A woman's physical strength could never be compared to a man's. Jiang Zhao rolled Yi Er into his arms like he was kneading dough. He kissed Yi Er's face and kept tickling Yi Er. When he tickled her, he went straight to Yi Er's chest. Wifey, you're so naughty. But I really like your naughtiness. Yi Er couldn't stand Jiang Zhao being so cheap. She reached out to cover his mouth and nose and pushed him hard. Get lost. To be honest, she wanted to stick her finger directly into his nostrils and twist it with all her might. You're the naughty one. After waking up in the morning, his hair wasn't so neat and his clothes weren't so formal. Jiang Zhao shrunk his neck. When he smiled, he looked a little childish. He said cutely, I'm not naughty. It was my wifey who was naughty last night. Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 542. Yi pulled the blanket over her head and wrapped herself up tightly. The voice that came out of the blanket sounded like a giant mosquito buzzing. Jiang Zhao, get lost and go to work. I don't want to see you anymore. I don't want to see you anymore. I don't want to see you anymore. You're a pervert. Ah. Jiang Zhao happily went to pull Yi-er's blanket but couldn't find any seams. He stretched out his arms and hugged the person who was wrapped up in the blanket. He said in a frivolous and aggrieved manner, "Don't be like this. If we're not family, we won't enter the same house. It's all because of your perverted behavior. You've led me astray." Yi-er flung the blanket away and was shocked. What? I've led you astray? Jiang Zhao nodded innocently. Yes. Look at you last night. Just thinking about it makes me blush. You pervert. You still dare to talk about last night. Say it again. Say it again. Yi-er picked up the pillow and hit this pervert to death. Pervert. Wifey, I'm a playboy. You're the pervert. Don't say the wrong thing next time. Be good. Hugging the woman who was so angry that she couldn't find her bearings, Jiang Zhao felt that this Yi-er was really great. Kissing her felt like kissing a ball of honey. Jiang Zhao buried his head in Yi-er's chest and took advantage of her. After a while, he still looked delicate. Wifey, you did so many perverted things to me last night. I'm exhausted. Make me some breakfast to replenish my energy. Otherwise, how can I take it when you play like this? If you want to play like this for a long time, you have to serve me well. You. Yi-er wanted to scold him. You're AF * king shameless black-bellied attacker. Why must you pretend to be a pure and innocent rabbit? Don't you have any shame? Jiang Zhao raised his eyebrows and blinked. Hurry up and go. Hurry up and go. A few days after Yun Hongwei was discharged from the hospital, the Qin family prepared a family banquet. Qin Rongfang even told Yi-er that they had been in a hurry to get married, so they only cared about the relatives at home and did not invite any friends. Today, they invited the young man's friends to the banquet. Yi-er didn't dare to accept it. She originally wanted to invite her friends to a banquet after the engagement, but things kept happening and she didn't have any free time. However, she didn't expect her grandfather to bring it up. After all, when she first married into the Qin family, her grandfather was against it. Qin Rongfang called Qin Feifang. Fian, your sister-in-law's family is having dinner at home today. Come back early. Bring some roses or something along the way. I only know of one kind of flower that you young people use to express some kind of mushy love. I want to ask your sister-in-law to invite her friends over to make up for her small wedding banquet. Qin Fian agreed readily. Grandpa, don't worry. Leave this to me. After hanging up, he called his secretary. Beauty, help me order some flowers. I want bright red roses. Get the florist to make them into a heart shape. The more auspicious, the better. It would be best if it means something like for life or to grow old together. Do as you deem fit. Handsome, do you have a tip? Beauty, if you don't help the boss properly, your salary will be deducted. Humph. Qin Fian was a person who could joke around and do whatever he wanted. He could give him flirtatious looks in the office, from time to time help him fix his bow tie, tidy his clothes, affectionately hug him, and flirt with him. He didn't mind any of it. However, when he issued the fine, it was as if he didn't know anyone. He even smiled and said to you, Beauty, if I give you the commission for this batch of materials, it will be very difficult for me. I'm a person who is most afraid of difficult things, so don't make it difficult for me. I won't give you the commission. Therefore, no matter who it was, no one dared to lower their work efficiency in such a relaxed environment. Even if the pressure was great, they still worked happily because the boss was really too loving. Although the beauty was drooling over Qin Fian's beauty, this kind of drooling did not affect her work at all. It had nothing to do with love. After ordering the flowers, Qin Fian came out of the company and made an appointment with a Japanese client. The secretary's English was good, but her Japanese was a little bad. He told the beautiful secretary that he really wanted to be like those big CEOs on TV and get a secretary who could speak 8 languages. The beautiful secretary immediately said, "Boss, I just signed up for a Japanese class tonight. It won't take long." "Heh, good girl." This Japanese client was going to visit a professor at the media college. It would end around 3 p.m. Qin Fian personally went to pick him up. There were so many handsome men and beautiful women in the media college, and all of them had their backs straight. What was this called? Confidence. After picking up the Japanese client from the teaching and research building, Qin Fian and the Japanese client slowly walked down. The two of them communicated in fluent Japanese. Their voices were sometimes loud and sometimes soft, and they were very happy. Xia Qian rode her bicycle all the way. She was wearing a small checkered shirt and a light-colored sweater. With her small fluffy hair, she looked like a fresh and cute little girl. She rode very slowly and looked to the side as she rode. Where were the keys? Where were the keys? Classmate, have you seen a bunch of keys with a Doraemon hanging on it? No. Beauty, have you seen a bunch of keys with a Doraemon hanging on it? It's only about this big. No, you can ask someone else. Thank you. Handsome, have you seen a bunch of keys? Hey, handsome. Xia Qian shouted a few times, but the two men in front of her ignored her. One was tall and one was short, one was fat and one was thin. What kind of combination was this? They rode a little closer. 2 Japanese? Little Japanese, Xia Qian muttered. No wonder. It turns out that there are 2 little Japanese. Qin Fian turned his head and saw a face that was more beautiful than a woman's. He pushed the frame of his glasses up his nose and narrowed his eyes. Xia Qian was shocked. This guy. She wanted to turn the car around and quickly leave the scene, but Qin Fian grabbed her hand and asked in authentic Mandarin, "Who's a little Japanese?" Xia Qian felt that anything she said now was wrong. You are a pure Chinese man. Why are you talking in Japanese? Don't you know that foreign relations need to be polite? Then why is he speaking in Mandarin so impolitely? He's like a little pug carrying the shoes of a little Japanese. The corner of Qin Fian's mouth twitched. He said fiercely, "Say that again." Xia Qian was not afraid. She did not want a commission from him. You want to translate for that little Japanese? The little Japanese walked over and nodded politely. His Mandarin was not very standard and sounded like it was mixed with rice. "Miss, there's no need to translate. I can understand Chinese. Also, miss, we are in the great Japanese Empire, not little Japan. It's not small, not small." Xia Qian chuckled. Since Qin Fian refused to let her go, she would not let him go. "Huh, Mr. Little Japan, we are talking about the size of China. We are using the square of the territory to calculate it. If we are too embarrassed to add the word big in front of China, you should be more modest, okay?" The little Japanese laughed awkwardly. He understood the meaning of modesty, but Xia Qian's words made him a little unhappy. Qin Fian wanted to appease the little Japanese. When Xia Qian saw that Qin Fian had let go of her and was chatting with the little Japanese, she immediately stepped on the pedals and the bicycle flew away. Yi Er called her friends one by one. Zheng Ling, the only friend she had in the past, asked her to bring her boyfriend, Lu Cheng. She invited her friends, Xiaoya and Xia Qian. She shamelessly said, "Well, Sister Xiaoya, this is my make-up wedding banquet. As for the red packets, you can give as much as you want." Xiaoya was looking for ingredients and was not satisfied with any of them. "Okay, I'll give you 200 yuan. Good things come in pairs. I'm hanging up, I'm busy." "Qiu, Xiaoya, you bastard." She called Xia Qian. "Qian, I'm having a make-up wedding banquet. Don't forget to give me a red packet. Xia Qian had just parked her bicycle and was panting heavily. She was so tired that she started to climb the stairs while panting. Yinyi, do you have any shame? You have the nerve to say that this is a make-up wedding banquet. Think about it yourself. Did you do something immoral? Yi Er was stunned. Did I invite the wrong person? Xia Qian said, think about it yourself. What do you mean by a make-up wedding banquet? When you got married, my sister and I put in a lot of effort. In the end, you just greeted us and didn't even invite us. Humph, Yi Er's eyes widened. Xia Qian, don't talk nonsense. I told you at the time that we only invited our relatives and elders. We didn't invite our friends from both sides. I'll invite them next time. How did this matter become her fault? Moreover, at that time, everyone was very understanding. They all said that it was fine, and that they should first appease the family. After all, they got married too quickly, and it was incomparable to other people who had prepared for a few months. Xia Qian was tired from climbing and took a break. That's right. Marriage is for a lifetime and you have the nerve to ask for a next time. You invited us to dinner to ask for forgiveness. Let me tell you, you didn't treat us as friends at all. You hurt our sincere feelings for you and you still have the nerve to ask for a red packet. My sister and I helped you so sincerely, but did we ask for a red packet? Did we ask for one? How can you say something so hurtful? Why are you such a woman who only cares about money and not people? Xia Qian said sincerely. Yi Er was so angry that she stomped her feet. Hey, Xia Qian, you're digressing. What are you digressing about? Yinyi, let me tell you, we'll settle the score at the wedding banquet slowly. You hurt my sister and my feelings, so we have to make things clear. I've never seen a friend like you. Others treat you as a friend, but you treat them as if they're at your beck and call. Yi Er held the phone and interrupted Xia Qian, not allowing her to say anything else. If she did, she would say all kinds of nasty things. Xia Qian, I don't want your red packet anymore. *CK. You make it sound as if I had betrayed my country. Is it that serious? Xia Qian laughed heartily. Hey, where are we eating? Are there any dishes I like? Let me tell you, what do I like to eat? Okay, stop talking. I'm annoyed just listening to you. My husband will send someone to pick you up later. Bring whatever you like. If there's nothing you like, I'm hanging up. Yi hung up the phone. What sisters? Are there any sisters who are so petty? What a pair of troublemakers. When Jiang Zhao arrived at the Qin residence, he went to his room in the north to wash his face. Yi Er followed behind him like a little pug, following him wherever he went. After Jiang Zhao finished washing his face, Yi Er handed him a towel. When Jiang Zhao came out of the bathroom, Yi Er followed him all the way with her mouth propped up. Jiang Zhao turned around and hugged Yi Er. He lowered his head and started nibbling on her neck. Honey, don't be like this. Don't be like this. The banquet is about to start. If you're not satisfied, we won't be able to finish it in such a short time. Let's talk about it when we get home tonight. Yi Er let Jiang Zhao nibble on her as she wriggled and stomped her feet in his arms. Hubby. Jiang Zhao hugged the beauty. He knew Yi Er had something to say, but he couldn't help teasing her. He felt that this kind of life was wonderful. Yes, my good wife. Do you really want to? Beauty novel, Xinwu 799. Chapter 543. Hubby, I didn't get a red packet. Yi Er couldn't be bothered with this pervert. She had to get a bamboo pole today, or else she would feel uncomfortable. What red packet? When Jiang Zhao saw Yi Er's face when she was acting, he felt that it was fun. Look, This little actress with good acting skills could really develop into the film and television industry. If that industry didn't have to film kissing scenes, hugging scenes, holding hands, and touching faces, it was worth a try. Isn't today the wedding banquet that Grandpa prepared for us? I called Jingling, Xia Qian, and Xiaoya. Zhengling offered to give me a big red packet, but Xiaoya said she would give me 200 yuan. Xia Qian was even more hateful. She didn't want to give me a single cent. She's too much. After Yi Er finished speaking, she stomped her feet again and pretended to be very angry for Jiang Zhao to see. Jiang Zhao knew that the main event was coming. He was waiting for her to serve the dishes. Then what do you want to do? I feel uncomfortable. What do you think I should do? Hubby, make it up to me, make it up to me. Jiang Zhao thought, honey, why don't you finish speaking? If you don't finish, it will be your husband's turn. Honey, look, my salary card is with you. I don't have a single cent. My company's dividend card is also with you. Your husband is so poor. Yi Er looked up and caught Jiang Zhao's despicable eyes. You're poor. You told me that day that you have too much money to spend. Yes, do you want to spend it all? Isn't my money your money? Yes. Yi Er understood a little. Her husband's money was her money. So, you want me to give you a red packet with the money that was originally your money? Yi Er shook her head. It's so troublesome. I have to go to the bank to deposit it. So, you still want to play your little trick? Yi Er shook her head. Looking at Jiang Zhao's shrewd eyes, she was disappointed. No, I can't outsmart you. Jiang Zhao sighed when he saw Yi Er's dejected look. He thought for a moment and immediately hugged his wife sneakily, saying, so, let's go ask someone for a red packet now and deposit it into our little treasury. What do you think? Yi Er's eyes lit up when she heard this. Thus, the bastard couple began to discuss how to extort a red packet. Jiang Zhao thought that it was not advisable to ask for a red packet, but his wife wanted to accept a red packet today, so he had to find a safe one. Otherwise, something would happen. Thus, he called Zhuang Yichen. In front of Yi Er's hopeful eyes, he said, Yichen, Grandpa helped me and you need to make up for our wedding today. Yi Er actually invited Qiu Xiaoya. She even told me that you couldn't come and had to invite Sister Xiaoya. One of the two of you had to come. What do you think is going on? Is she so smart that she could tell that you two are a couple? Yi Er was very excited when she heard this. Wow, hubby, you are so sinister, so sinister. You actually schemed against Zhuang Yichen. Men love to save face, so they definitely won't lose face. Zhuang Yichen listened to the phone and felt that something was wrong. Jiang Zhao was not usually like this. Today, it was too obvious. His tone was also not right. If he was not familiar with the other party's voice, he would definitely think that a group of scammers had come to scam him. But for it to be so obvious, there must be a reason, right? Brother Zhao, it's really inconvenient for me to attend your wedding. Just like Grandpa Qin's birthday, I could only send some crystal cups through Fian. How about this, I'll ask Xiaoya to bring a congratulatory gift over tonight. Congratulations on your marriage. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er and proudly shook his head, indicating that he had succeeded. Seeing Yi Er clapping her hands in excitement, Jiang Zhao's heart was blooming with flowers. He pretended to be awkward and said into the phone, how could I do that? Zhuang Yichen was also a smart person. He more or less guessed what was going on. He laughed loudly and said, if you say that I'm sorry again, your motive is too obvious. You know me best, Yichen. Yi Er hugged Jiang Zhao's arm and blinked her eyes as she asked, hubby, how much will this bring in? I'm not sure. Last time, at Grandpa's birthday, all the crystal cups that he prepared were about 1 million. Yi Er let out a big breath. Good Lord, this was a big deal. Isn't this gift too extravagant? That's not too good, right? Haha. Yi Er suddenly thought of something and sat up straight. She looked straight at Jiang Zhao and was a little frightened. Hubby, let's not accept his red packet. It's too big. It's so scary. If someone investigates in the future, and your job is so sensitive, no, let's not accept it. Jiang Zhao tidied Yi Er's hair by her ear. It turned out that she was so worried about his future. It's okay. Qiu Xiaoye sent it over. It's not a big deal. Besides, I've never helped Qiu Xiaoye with anything. Besides, I've never accepted bribes. I don't care about money. It's just that you feel like receiving red packets. I'll give it to you to satisfy your craving. The next time Zhuang Yichen gets married, we'll just send it back. This is just a friendship. Yi nodded. She thought about what had happened at home a few days ago and Jiang Zhao's character. As long as she was obedient, Jiang Zhao would treat her very well. He would not care about her family and a bunch of burdens. He enjoyed the feeling of being looked up to by a woman. Suddenly, she felt a little sad. Hubby, let me tell you. Dad used to be very good to Mom. Whatever Mom wanted, Dad would give her. But now, Mom still treats him like this. She even made him so angry that he had a heart attack and almost lost his life. Don't listen to me all the time. You will spoil me. If you spoil me, I will become bad in the future. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er's bright eyes. Her almond-shaped eyes were not so round, and were slightly flat. She looked sly, but the light in her eyes was not sly at all. She was very serious, as if she was talking about something very important. Don't worry. I won't listen to you. I'll control you tightly and not let you learn bad things. If you dare to learn bad things, I'll catch you back, tie you up, and forbid you from going out. Then, I'll get rid of your bad habits bit by bit. Don't make it sound so scary. Don't make it sound so scary. It's so scary. Since you like to live in fear like this, I'll fulfill your wish. There were actually not many people at the banquet. Jiang Zhao had a lot of friends. Rather than calling them friends, it was better to call them partners. Even if he only invited one person, the entire building would soon know that he was inviting a guest. Of course, there would be no lack of red packets. Yi Er received so many that her hands went limp, but she still felt uneasy. Jiang Zhao said that it was fine. These were all legitimate. If there were too many, they could just return the favor. He was not afraid of these things. Yi Er was also not afraid when she was in a wealthy family. But she knew that Jiang Zhao was in the government and that there were some things that he should pay attention to. In the past, when she celebrated birthdays and New Year's, she did not feel anything when receiving red packets. But now, her state of mind was completely different. It was this man who was too calm. Xia Qian got out of the car that Jiang Zhao had sent. When she got out of the car, the driver leaned against the car window and took deep breaths. Then, he opened the car door and ran to a tree root to retch violently. The security guard at the door felt like vomiting when he saw this. Xia Qian carried a small craft paper food bag and asked the security guard, "Where can I find Yun Yi and Jiang Zhao?" The security guard looked at the craft paper bag in Xia Qian's hand and did not dare to cover his nose. After all, young Master Zhao had sent someone to pick her up. He did not dare to offend her. "Miss, wait a moment. I'll get someone to bring you over." Xia Qian was led all the way to the restaurant. When she saw Yi Er and Jiang Zhao coming over, she opened her backpack and took out a red packet and stuffed it into Yi Er's hand. 1888, keep it well. This is all of my savings. Luckily, my sister is usually generous to me. Otherwise, 188 is not a small amount. If you dare to think that it's too little, we'll break off our friendship. I made a bad friend. You want a red packet and you want me to bring delicious food. After saying this, she opened the craft paper bag and threw a piece of stinky tofu into her mouth. She smacked her lips and ate with relish. Yi Er was quite touched. Xia Qian had a sharp tongue. Her red packets were incomparable to those of Jiang Zhao's friends and those of Jingling, who owned a photography studio. However, for a student like her, it was already a lot. She didn't have to accept the red packets, and she would give them back to Xia Qian when she had something to do in the future. However, the feeling was indescribable. But even if she was touched, she could not resist the smell of the stinky tofu. It was too much. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. Xia Qian was a guest. No matter how smelly the stinky tofu was, no one would say anything about it. After all, educated people knew how to respect others, even on the surface. If it was any other time, Qin Fian would definitely endure it. After all, stinky tofu was also a type of food, and no one could stop anyone from eating it. However, this piece of cement was not pleasing to his eyes, and he was even invited here. Wasn't this a bit too unlucky? He exaggeratedly pinched his nose and began to vomit. It's too smelly, too smelly. Then he looked at Xia Qian. Have you not bathed in a few years? Why are you so smelly? Xia Qian was an idiot, but she was not really an idiot. It was just that at first glance, her expression and the way she did things were very idiotic. It was Yi Er who asked her to bring her favorite food. She was an idiot and should not bring her favorite food at such an occasion. This was because although she worked in the media industry, all the stinky girls in her dormitory liked to eat stinky tofu. As long as the stall on the roadside started to sell oil, all the stinky girls in her dormitory would go and do a big job. Therefore, in her mind, stinky tofu was a good thing. It was a delicious thing. She had temporarily forgotten that stinky tofu had always been a taboo in such a prestigious and wealthy family. Later on, she also noticed everyone's expressions. However, since she had already come in, if she were to lose it, wouldn't it make her seem like she had no integrity? Was the food that rich people ate high-end food? Besides, her sister did not say anything. Although there was no need for Xia Qian to stand up for Yun Hongwei, Jiang Zhao knew that Xia Qian and Yi Er got along well. Xia Qian was also a guest invited by Yi Er. Regardless of the size of the red packet, it was still Yi Er's face. If Qin Fian gave Xia Qian any face now, then the one who would lose face would be Yi Er. If Yi Er lost face, it would be the same as losing face for Jiang Zhao. Fian, Miss Xia is a guest. Qin Fian pretended not to hear. Last time, he was called a woman by this woman. Today, he was called a Japanese. Faced with Qin Fian's ridicule and knowing that Jiang Zhao wanted to help her out, Xia Qian did not accept it. Brother Zhao, just eat properly and take good care of Yi Er. Xiaoye didn't take Xia Qian seriously at all. She even chatted with Yi Er as if Xia Qian wasn't her younger sister at all. She had the attitude of a little scattered immortal who would fend for herself if there was a war. However, Yi Er completely understood her attitude. She tugged at Jiang Zhao. Hubby, don't worry about them. Let's eat our food. I'm almost used to that smell. Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 544. Jiang Zhao nodded. He couldn't do anything about it even if he wasn't used to it. At most, he could ask Yi Er to make some supper for him at night. He wouldn't starve anyway. Xia Qian walked to Qin Fian's side and opened the craft paper bag in her hand. She used a thin bamboo stick to pick out a small piece of stinky tofu with some chili on it. She picked it up and placed it in front of Qin Fian. It's not that I haven't showered. I shower every day. If I don't shower, I can't sleep. So the smell you're smelling naturally can't be my body fragrance. This is the delicious stinky tofu. Do you know now? Young Master Fian? Qin Fian wanted to vomit. The smell was even stronger. She still had the nerve to say that not showering for a long time was her body fragrance. What was face? Just as he was about to slap the stinky tofu in front of him away, the woman had already thrown the stinky tofu she picked up into her mouth and started eating happily. Heavens, such a smelly, disgusting thing, and she actually threw it into her mouth. Jiang Zhao looked at Qin Fian's distorted beautiful face and wanted to laugh. However, he felt that with so many colleagues around, if he laughed, it would damage his image. But if he kept pretending to be serious on the outside, he almost suffered internal injuries from holding it in. Yi Er also felt that this kind of performance was too loving. To be able to see Qin Fian's beautiful face contort into all kinds of unexpected expressions, this was really a rare occurrence. Xiaoya said softly, Yi Er, let me tell you, you have to hold it in. There should be an even more exciting performance. Xiaoya had just finished speaking when Xia Qian suddenly threw the bag of skewers on the table. She lightly jumped and hugged Qin Fian's neck. While Qin Fian was unguarded, her small mouth forcefully pressed against his and started to nibble. This nibbling was really good. It wasn't like kissing, it was more like rubbing the tofu residue in her mouth onto Qin Fian's mouth. She was just wiping, but this woman's tongue still went into Qin Fian's mouth. Qin Fian was already dizzy from this disgusting feeling. He couldn't stand properly and fell backwards. The woman hugging his neck couldn't be pushed away. But that wasn't the point. The point was that she had eaten stinky tofu. Her mouth, that stinky tofu, was trying to pry open his mouth. Xia Qian used the power of the stinky tofu to press Qin Fian to the ground. She leaned on his body and kissed him. Qin Fian's face was full of saliva. Qin Fian was anxious. At this time, it was useless even if he was strong. Before he could move, Xia Qian shouted, a gentleman uses his mouth and not his fists. Why are you touching my breasts? You. Qin Fian's face turned red. No. One more kiss, handsome. Xia Qian was an idiot. That was because she didn't treat Qin Fian as a man. She felt that kissing Qin Fian wasn't a loss. Because Qin Fian wasn't a man. They were like this now. At most they could be considered good sisters. Qin Fian felt very strange. What was going on today? No one came to pull him away. There was a reason why no one pulled him away. Old Master Qin stood up and gave everyone a look. No one was allowed to move. He laughed sinisterly in his heart. This girl wasn't bad. If she forced Fian, would she have a grandson to hug? So many people gathered here. It wasn't very convenient, right? But how should he say it, to send these people away? Qin Rongfang glanced around. Everyone knew to lower their heads. Jiang Zhao also felt that this was an interesting show. Today's wedding banquet was too interesting. He didn't bring any equipment. When he turned around, he saw Qiu Xiaoya sitting beside Yi Er taking a video with her phone. She wasn't the only one taking a video. Many people were doing the same. He glanced at Grandpa. He was just letting him do whatever he wanted. All right, Grandpa must feel that Fian was being pressed to the ground by a girl covered in stinky tofu. Using a mouth covered in stinky tofu foam to bite Fian's mouth, it was better than Fian saying that he was gay, right? Could this be the legendary, when things reach an extreme, they will move in the opposite direction? Xia Qian's looks were not bad. But with this kind of character, could she really satisfy Grandpa? All right, Grandpa must now feel that as long as she was a woman, she could move, she could give birth. Qin Fian had more or less gotten used to the stinky tofu's dizzying and breathless smell. He suddenly had strength. Anyway, the woman on top of him was a piece of cement. He didn't need to be gentlemanly. Today, he threw all his gentleness to the heavens. But when he forcefully pulled away the woman's hand, the woman suddenly shouted, "Wah, you have chest muscles." Pfft! Everyone at the banquet table spat out their wine. Qin Fian couldn't control himself. His hand went limp. The woman hugged him tightly again. "You have chest muscles. I'll reward you with one." "Great. Come, kiss me again." "Mwah." The salivating stinky tofu mouth bit him again. Get lost. Qin Fian was already angry from embarrassment. Wah, you have abs. You're really a cute bottom. Wah. Xia Qian was a media worker. When she was in school, her teacher said that media workers not only had to have a sense of social responsibility and a rational mind, they also had to have a certain quality. That was, they had to be unafraid of wind, rain, hard work, and tiredness. In the end, they were just shamelessly looking for news. So when she faced a beautiful bottom like Qin Fian, her professionalism came up again. Qin Fian flipped over and pinned Xia Qian down. Good, this woman wasn't afraid of death. Because her hand was obviously red from his pulling, but she still refused to let go. She was obviously a vengeful woman who couldn't care less. Just as he was about to break his hand to get this woman further away, Xiaoya stood up with her phone. The camera was pointed at the two people on the ground. Her high heels walked elegantly and steadily. Yo, young Master Fian, are you going to hit a woman? Qin Fian turned his head. F***ck. Unlucky day. What was this family trying to do today? Why were all the servants standing and watching? At this moment, he flipped over and saw that the people in the restaurant were all very gentlemanly. They were all sitting in their seats and watching him make a fool of himself. When he saw his grandfather's shining eyes, he suddenly understood. Good, this family was waiting to scheme against him. He lowered his head and leaned over to Yi Er's ear and said, I'm actually not afraid of men and women. There are too many people here. Why don't we find a quiet place to continue? Don't tell me you want to perform a live erotic scene in front of so many people. You don't say, your breasts look pretty good. I'll take a good look later. Xia Qian almost vomited because of Qin Fian's, not afraid of men and women. She immediately let go and squirmed out from under Qin Fian's body. She stood properly and tidied her hair. She looked around at everyone and laughed dryly. It's just a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. Everyone, continue. Xiaoya turned off the camera and asked Xia Qian in a normal tone, how's his chest? He looks pretty skinny, but he often likes to show 3 buttons, so you can see his chest muscles. His figure should be pretty good. How does it feel? Qin Fian got up from the ground with a dark face. He had never been like this in his life. He used to be a handsome man, but today, he really became a stinky man. His face was full of stinky tofu smell. He originally wanted to get a brush to brush his face and mouth, but he heard the two women had already begun to talk about his body. Xia Qian sighed. Sigh, it's just a so-so. Don't you know that you interact with models all day long? You can tell with one look that he has a good figure. His abdominal muscles are just a so-so. Bottoms are usually very weak, so it's normal that his abdominal muscles are not very developed. It's not a big deal. Xia Qian prayed in her heart. Buddha, I'm just kidding. His body is really good. His chest muscles feel so good. His abdominal muscles are like small squares. Wow, it's true. He's definitely a top, not a bottom. Don't blame me, don't blame me. Qin Fian swore to himself. Bitch Xia Qian, your good days are over. After tonight's banquet, you're no longer a guest of sister-in-laws. I can torture you to death in any way I want. Yi Er listened to the conversation and felt that it was really interesting. It was a very interesting topic. On the other side, Jiang Zhao grunted. She turned her head and saw it. Hubby? Is he angry? When they got home that night, Jiang Zhao ordered that they were not allowed to play with Qiu, Xiaoya, Xia Qian and the others anymore. Yi Er jumped up. Why? Ever since the incident with Zhengling's mother, she did not dare to look for Zhengling. She was traumatized and was afraid that Zhengling's mother would not like her. If she went over, Zhengling's mother would scold Zhengling again. However, she felt that it was good to hang out with Xiaoya and Xia Qian. Qiu, Xiaoya was a few years older, but she was also a very fun woman. Xia Qian was even more so. She was very happy to hang out with them. Why was she not allowed to play with them now? No reason. Anyway, we can't hang out together. Although Jiang Zhao felt that the drama was good, Xia Qian, Qiu, and Xiaoya were too lecherous. There were so many people, and they were openly talking about men's muscles. They even asked how it felt. They even noticed that they liked to loosen the 3 buttons. Could they still be called dignified women? Yi Er was not so open-minded. It was one thing to close the door and another to go out. After being with him for a long time, she would definitely be led astray. In the future, wouldn't she be staring at men's chest muscles on the streets? Jiang Zhao, there's no such person like you. You've gone overboard. Back then, you asked me to get in touch with Xia Qian and hook up with them. Now, you're not allowing me to do so. Jiang Zhao felt that this was a serious topic. His face darkened as he reprimanded her. Back then, you didn't marry me. Now that you're married to me, everyone in Haiqing knows that I, Jiang Zhao, will definitely get my father-in-law out. There's no need for Xia Qian anymore. Since there's no need for her, you're not allowed to hang out with them anymore. You're always fooling around all day long. You even find it interesting. Then what's interesting? What did they do to you? In his heart, Jiang Zhao had always treated Yi Er as a little girl. Especially after what she said at night, he was a little worried that she would be led astray. She was already very bad. She dared to drug men, take erotic photos, work at a nightclub, and even bribe a high-ranking official with sex. What else did she not dare to do? Fortunately, he was the only one she met from the beginning to the end. He was the one who saved her. But what if she was led astray by some indecent woman? Jiang Zhao tugged at the tie around his neck. After pulling it open, he threw it on the bed, took off his shirt, and walked towards the bathroom. Yin Yi, remember, the wife is the husband. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao, who was so arrogant, with his head held high and his chest puffed out. When he said those words confidently and leisurely walked towards the bathroom with his long legs, she wanted to transform into a beautiful female warrior and kill him. Forget it, if she killed him, she would lose her husband. Add Hongcha 866. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.